I do Pokemon speedruns for the Nintendo Switch, and today I am going to show off Let's Go Pikachu because that is what won the bid war. I'm very excited to show this off. I personally think this is the better of the two versions as a speedrun, though I do think Eevee is cuter. So really, I would have been happy with both versions, but now we're going to see a slightly more interesting speedrun, so I am excited to do it. Yeah, I do have two experienced runners on the couch today. Do you want to introduce yourself right now?
I'm not that experienced, but it's been a little while since I played this game. But I have ran this game. My name is Iron. I also play mostly Switch titles, Pokemon speedrunning. Mostly now focused on Scarlet and Violet, but I have played this game. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it if you're getting into Pokemon speedrunning. It's just a really fun game and really easy to get into. And Pikachu's the best version.
I'm Spider C, the other commentator. I run Eevee, so I will not know what to talk about for a bit because I don't know the Pika route.
Yes, that's true. The games are a little bit different in the first half, but the routes do converge around the 2-hour mark again. So at least at that point, you'll know what to talk about anyway. We have a 3-hour run ahead of us, so why don't we just start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is a remake of Pokemon Yellow, which is a first-generation Pokemon game for the Game Boy back in the day. And by choosing the Pika version, I guess we are more faithful to that original game, because we are going to have a Pikachu as our starter Pokemon. Before we get to that, we do have to pick a character here. I always choose the girl, just, you know, I prefer that. And then we're going to name ourselves 1, just because that's the fastest that you can name yourself. Plus it scrolls along faster. Same goes for our rival. His actual name is Trace, but he's just going to be 1 for our run as well. Kind of confusingly named, you know, we are 1, he's 1. But what can you do? It's just the fastest.
It's kind of funny in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, if you name yourself 1, there's like a character that says, would you be the X or whatever the name is that I've heard so much about? And it's perfect when you name yourself 1. Would you be the 1 I've heard so much about?
In Oras, I think they normally name themselves ! And then Steven gets very excited at some point.
So we're about to actually be able to move, but the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change a few settings here. That's 4 settings I just changed. The first one was text speed. I set that to fast, which that's kind of self-explanatory why we want the text to scroll by faster. The second option was that I disabled the battle effects. So battles in Pokemon, of course, are turn-based, and each move has an animation that plays when you select it, but you can turn those animations off, and that way the fights will also go by faster. The third thing I changed was the battle mode. Usually that is on switch mode, which basically just means that you get asked if you want to switch your Pokemon after every Pokemon you defeat on the enemy team. But, you know, that's one extra text box we have to clear away in every battle, so we can just put that to set mode where you don't get asked that. And the last option I changed was that I enabled movie skipping, because this game has, I think it's 9 pre-rendered cutscenes, 5 of which happen during the speedrun. And yeah, usually you can't skip those, but there's an option, and now we can, which is, of course, faster. So I'm about to catch my starter Pokemon here, and you're probably going to notice that this looks a lot like Pokemon Go. And that is true, because this game was basically designed with Pokemon Go in mind. That's also why the name is so similar. But, you know, we don't have a touchscreen. I guess the Switch does have a touchscreen, but in docked mode we don't have that. So I'm going to be using the motion controls to do the catching in this game. And there's going to be a lot of catching. More on that later. But this also means that there are no classic wild Pokemon battles in this game. There are trainer fights the way we know them, but we're not going to be fighting any wild Pokemon. Instead, we're going to be catching a lot of them. But yeah, story-wise, it's, you know, the classic first-gen Pokemon story. We're about to select our starter here. Of course, we're forced into picking Pikachu. I'm going to skip the first cutscene of the run here, where Pikachu would pop out of its Pokeball and refuse to go back inside. So it's actually going to follow us around for a bit here. But before that, we have to decline giving it a nickname because that's slow. We actually have to check its summary real quick to see if it's actually usable. Modest is not usable, so I have a backup save for this. I'm just gonna end the timer here and hop right back into my backup save where I have a runnable Pikachu that we can use for this. I'm afraid I messed up my timing here because I set the date of my switch earlier to correspond with an event in the game, and that's probably going to be off cycle now, so oh well.
I think you can still get double moves done with this.
Probably yes, but I'm going to have to hurry because...
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I would always hurry, but... now there's extra rush to get there in time.
What's this Pika?
This Pika has a quiet nature with a speed characteristic. So it's plus special attack minus speed nature with the speed characteristic. Now what does that mean? Would one of you want to explain that?
You want to talk about natures and I'll talk about AVs.
Oh yeah, I can talk about nature. So yeah, there's 25 natures. So pretty much there's 5 stats which sort of affect natures. So every Pokemon, they have one of those 5 stats, which are attack, defense, special defense, and speed, raised by 10% or reduced by 10%. One of them is raised, one of them is reduced. That's been the case since Gen 3. And sometimes you have the same stat is raised, same lowered, so overall you have what's called a neutral nature. So there's 25 natures, but I guess like 17 of them or something like that, or 21, I don't remember exactly, are unique. So you have a few 5 different neutrals possible. And so as a result, we want to have really good attack and ideally really good special attack to run Let's Go Pikachu, because you'll just take more turns in battle if you have reduced attack or potentially reduced special attack as well. Speed is also somewhat important as well, but it's not super critical. You might get outsped with a minus speed nature later on.
Which we do have on this Pikachu.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that when we get there. It's coming back to me very, very slowly in this game. So, which I don't know what that is here. I think I'm looking at our chart here. We have 7 natures that aren't runnable, and then Adamant is where you have plus attack minus special attack, which can be runnable as well, because the plus attack helps a lot. Spider, you can take the next bit, which I can't remember.
Okay, so the other part that's unique to this game that no other Pokemon game has is it has a thing called AVs, which stands for Awakening Values. Every time your Pokemon levels up, they get an additional stat point that goes into one of their 6 stats. There's 2 things that are interesting about this, is that one, it's a set cycle. So the AV that you get at level 6 is the same AV you get at level 16, at 26, and so on. We're going to be taking this Pikachu up to about level 30. So the first few AVs that we get, we're going to get 3 times, and then the others we're only going to get twice. The other thing that's interesting about AVs is that they are random, but also weighted depending on your nature and characteristic. And so with this EV, it's going to have, so there's 8 different rolls. For this EV, it's going to have 2 out of 8 for speed, 2 out of 8 for attack, and the others 4 would all have 1 roll. just because of the way the nature and characteristic worked out.
All right. Yeah. That's basically it. This Pikachu has, like I said, a minus speed characteristic, a minus speed nature, but a plus speed characteristic. Now, usually you could not get AVs in the stat that your nature lowers, but because we do have the speed characteristic, we might still get some speed AVs, which means that the few fights where we could potentially get outsped with a minus speed nature, we might still be fine. So this is
that's really
a very interesting Pikachu.
Another thing that's interesting about AVs is that you only actually see them if you level up in battle. So we're going to see our level 6 AVs
Right here.
But then we're not going to see the next few after that.
Just to defense, that's not very useful.
That's not great.
Alright, that concludes the first 9 minutes of a run. Which are always basically the same and not very interesting, in my opinion. But, you know, now we get into the good stuff. Because we are about to enter the first catching section of the run, which is Viridian Forest. And usually in speedruns, in Pokemon speedruns, you're not going to be doing a lot of catching. You might catch something to use HMs with, or you might catch something just to have a backup in case your main Pokemon faints in battle. But we are actually going to catch 50 different Pokemon, and I don't know, Spider, do you want to explain why that is?
Yeah, sure. So another thing that's interesting about this game is that all of the gym leaders have a requirement to enter their gym. So in order to enter Brock's gym, you need to have a water or a grass type Pokemon. Oddly enough, there are 0 water Pokemon that are available before Brock's gym, so you need a grass type. Misty is another one that's important because you need a level 15 Pokemon to enter her gym. But the most important one is Koga's gym. And Koga's gym requires you to have 50 different Pokemon registered in your Pokedex. So we're going to be catching a lot of Pokemon for 2 reasons. One, primarily just so we can enter Koga's gym. But then the secondary reason is that all of the XP that you normally get from trainer battles that you would normally get in other Pokemon games is reduced in this game. And a lot of that XP is pushed into catches. So when we do our catches, we're both looking to get closer to that magic 50 number, but also to get the XP that we need to continue on and do well in fights.
Exactly, yes. So a lot of this run is going to be about the catches and coming up with a custom catch route because, you know, spawns in this game are random. So there are runs where you don't see one particular Pokemon, so you have to adapt by maybe catching something else that you wouldn't usually catch. And that's really what makes this run unique and also very fun, in my opinion. I just picked up a lure. I'm gonna use that immediately. Lures in this game have 2 effects. The first one is that it's gonna make spawns more likely. Nice, Bulbasaur.
Go for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for that, but I also need the bugs to spawn here first.
Yeah, because you want to get the catch experience. You want to level up these bugs, and getting the Bulbasaur catch experience on when you have the bug in your party is very helpful. So it's good to get the bug out of the way first. Also, the bug's just easier to catch.
Yeah, it just didn't want to spawn. And the other thing that lures do, I didn't finish explaining that, is that they make every Pokemon spawn at their maximum possible level. So usually these bugs would only spawn in a range between, I think, level 3 and level 6. But with the lure, they're actually going to be spawning... What? I did not want to pet the Pika.
Time to pet Pikachu already?
What happened?
Is your second controller on?
Oh, no, it isn't. Why? Where's the... Did this Caterpie spawn after the lure?
If not... legal.
Okay. I did not catch that. Nope, it's not.
Nope, it's not.
I'm still gonna catch it.
It's level 5, so it's not the worst.
Yeah. Ideally, you want them at level 7 because it's going to take them fewer level ups to reach their evolution level, and each level up is one more text box to clear, which takes time. But yeah, it's fine. Because the Bulbasaur spawned, we are going to be fine in terms of experience. I hope. So, you know, because a lower level catch will also give you less experience, that is another reason why you would potentially not want to go for a lower leveled Caterpie here. I also keep using these raspberries. Raspberries just make it easier to catch Pokemon. And especially the Bulbasaur is a pretty tricky catch, so it might still break out even with the raspberry. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, so you know Trivvaria, she had a little bit of difficulty getting that second controller going, but that second controller really helps with the catches because it just improves the catch rate.
And also additional bonus experience for using a second controller.
Yeah, there's just so many bonus, and then getting the excellent as well is another bonus in terms of the experience you get. So we try to take advantage of all these little bonuses when doing catches. There are some circumstances where you have to use one controller. We'll get to those later on. But most of the time, we're going to be doing catching with 2 controllers. And the balls that we use to catch matter as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there.
Yeah. So the problem there was that my second Joy-Con was just not connected to the Switch. Forgot to do that. Because starting the game will always disconnect both controllers so that you can basically reorder them each and every time. But yeah, that was just not ideal. I'm actually going to skip the Oddish there for a particular reason. We do have to catch an Oddish, but the Oddish that spawns in Meridian Forest is going to be level 7, which is a little bit too low. We want it to be at least level 8, ideally level 9, because we're going to be using the Oddish to fight Brock. Because Pikachu, you know, as an electric type Pokemon, has a little bit of trouble dealing with Brock, even though we just learned Double Kick. So we prefer just using a grass type. And
yeah.
robots. Yeah?
Sorry, and unfortunately Bulbasaur is just not good enough, which is
Yeah.
very, very sad, because it's my favorite evolutionary line. I think Spider really likes it too,
Yep,
so...
I was sort of my favorite Pokemon. But yeah, in Eevee version, you could just catch Bulbasaur and go because you use Eevee to beat Brock. But here in
punished.
Pikachu version, we use Oddish. So the Bulbasaur's not good enough in that case.
So I'm now looking
There it
for
is.
an Oddish, and we did get 2 here. These both had an aura around them. We call that glowing. That means that they are taller or smaller, I guess, than a regular Oddish, which for us just means it's going to give us an experience multiplier on catching, which is pretty nice to have.
And 10% of glowing Pokemon, I think it's 10%, are either extra small or extra large, which give an even larger EXP bonus, which from the amount of XP, that one might have been Wumbo.
And I think 300 is just a regular glowing level 9 Oddish.
That looked like a lot of EXP. But yeah, when you there's no way to tell if a Pokemon is extra small or extra large until you actually do the catch. So sometimes you just get way more XP than you're expecting to. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you do have to sit through those extra level ups, so it can be a little bit of time loss.
Yeah, and sometimes and Pokemon learn moves by level up too, so there's going to be some cases where we're going to deposit Pokemon once we get to a certain point, because they're just going to learn like a million moves. A great example is Butterfree, which will come later. But you see here, like, we got all our bugs leveled up to level 10, which means they're going to evolve into their final stages, so we're doing really well in terms of catches as well as experience right now, going into Brock.
So I'm now gonna swap the Oddish into first slot because, like I said, that's gonna be doing the fighting for Brock. Can't forget to do that. You don't want to start the fight with Pikachu because you'll be starting at a disadvantage if you do that. I'm gonna be talking to our rival here. He's gonna give us 5 free potions, which we are probably gonna be using a few of. and then we can enter the gym. There we go. Oh, if I can actually hit the door.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I think for the Eevee version, you would do you get Bellsprout instead of Oddish because of the version exclusive, and then you have to use your Eevee in this battle. I think it is as a double, if I recall correctly,
Nope.
right?
You just double kick.
Yeah.
Mewtwo
okay, with
is
Eevee,
double
okay.
kick ×2. Onyx is tail whip, and then double kick ×2.
Because the difference there is that Bellsprout only has a physical grass type move, which, you know, rock types are famously pretty physically bulky, whereas Oddish has a special grass type move with Absorb. So that's just going to be able to one-shot both of these Pokemon in most scenarios. If this Oddish is very weak, it might struggle with the Onyx. There we go, that's one down. By the way, if the Bulbasaur gets another level up here from the Onyx experience, I think I'm just going to keep it. Usually you're not evolving the Bulbasaur, but it's already gotten 2 level ups, which isn't the idea. So if it gets another one, I'm just going to keep it to level 16 and get the Venusaur catch.
Ivysaur, yes, please do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say neither of us are gonna argue with an Ivysaur.
Ivysaur, yeah.
Because I actually love Ivysaur as well.
Well, I mean, we three really seem to have found each other because Bulbasaur has always been my favorite starter in Gen 1 as well.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
The Bulbasaur squad on Let's Go duty today.
Bulbasaur is just not a very good Pokemon in speedrunning, but
Yeah,
it's
that
just
is true.
such a good design. So
All right, we got the beat road
I
from
think
this.
I think it's a bit better in competitive, but it's just not really good. And in later gens, of course.
But I don't think it got a level up there. I didn't actually pay attention, so we are going to deposit it unless it gets. I mean, there's still a little bit to go before the next menu where I would usually deposit anything. So there are a couple of fights and potentially also 2 more catches until we get there, which means that the Bulbasaur could still level up.
There's still hope.
There's still hope for the Ivysaur evolution. Yeah, and this is Blue. You might recognize him from being the rival in the original games. But he's his own character in this game, so there's, you know, Trace and Blue separately. He's gonna pop up a couple of times, and we're actually gonna be fighting him a little bit later. But for now, yeah, he's just here to smack talk us, I guess. This is
Smell you
special
later.
attack, so I have to. Oh, yeah, I'm in the correct notes. Okay, so I have to shop here. I have to buy some Great Balls.
So this is the first of 3 shops that we'll be doing. It is just 3, right?
I think it's 3, yes.
Yeah. So just gonna get some Great Balls. Those will help us with catches, just a higher catch rate. Some X items, those will help with fights because they improve your stats in fights. They're very integral to Pokemon speedrunning. And then some status healing items because you can and will get status quite a few times during the run. So it's nice having those as a safety measure.
Yeah, I also got an X defense, which is an item that you can use in battle to, well, raise your defensive stat. But yeah, we're not going to be using that for another 2 hours. It's just going to sit in our bag for quite a while.
I was trying to think what the X defense is for.
Oh, hello.
Oh, nice
You want that,
Mankey.
Mankey? That's the X defense we're going to be using in the 8th gym, so...
Oh, okay. That's a really early buy for that. That's
Yeah, I know. That's just how the money route works out in Pikachu. That was a little bit early, but it should still stay in. So yeah, there are...
It also gives less experience because it's a great instead of an excellent.
Yeah, and that's actually good because I don't want the stuff in my party to overlevel, especially because the Pedro is already evolved.
Except Bulbasaur.
Yeah,
And that's the level up,
it is.
so I'm gonna
Yes.
keep it. You got your wish. That's a level 12.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah.
I was just
level
going to say that this is one advantage that Pikachu has, is that on this route, there are 2 different Pokemon that can spawn that are considered bonuses. You can either get Manaphy or Sandshrew. Eevee version only has Ekans as a bonus on this route.
Charmander can also spawn here, but I've never seen it happen on this route. I've only ever seen it happen in Rock Tunnel where there's
Yeah,
another...
same with me.
The game tries to fool you a little bit right there. It has you jump over one ledge to avoid a trainer, but then there's a ledge immediately after where if you jump over, then you get stuck and have to fight a trainer.
Which is why I waited for the spinner there, which I guess, well, I'm gonna buy a Magikarp here. It's just a very fast catch to get, but talking about spinners, usually in Pokemon games, these spinners are pseudo-random, but in this game, thankfully, they aren't. They are on a timed cycle, so we can actually usually tell whether we can pass them safely. So in general, there shouldn't be as many optional trainers that we accidentally hit. But you know, stuff can always go wrong. Alright, yeah, also, I guess I should talk about the elephant in the room here. Jesse and James are in this game. So, yeah. They were already in Pokemon Yellow because that game came out after the first season of the anime. And they made their return into this remake of Pokemon Yellow as well. Keep using the Oddish here. It's going to use Acid. Sadly, it's level 10, so this is definitely a 2-hit on the Bellsprout. At level 12 or 13, depending on how strong the Oddish is, you might actually be able to one-shot this. But we didn't get punished too hard. The Bellsprout can go for Wrap, which is pretty slow. But we're good. We just hit 13 speed, which means we will also outspeed the next Pokemon that we fight. And looking at the time right now, I'm definitely gonna miss the Double Moonstone timing. Oh yeah, it rolls over in 1 minute and 10 seconds, so not gonna...
Oh, right, because you have to fight the Sandshrew first.
Yeah.
I was like, you got plenty of time. Eevee brain.
Sadly, that is not the case. So I set the time to be 11:32 p.m. before I started the run, because there are hidden items in this game have a 50% chance to respawn every day. So by having the date roll over right after we pick up a hidden Moonstone in here, we have a 50% chance to get a second Moonstone, which is pretty nice because, you know, an Evolution Stone is just a free catch. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go in. You're not supposed to do this, but I may as well. I'm gonna pick up the Moonstone, and I'm gonna leave again before I do the menu. That's a little bit slow. So we are depositing everything that has already evolved. Sadly, the Metapod is not evolved yet. This can go back into slot 1, and the Mankey can go into the box. We also want to teach Headbutt to the Pikachu. That's just a pretty strong move that we can make great use of whenever something resists electric type moves. And then we're going to use another lure here and go right back down because there's still one more item to grab. And we also want to catch some Pokemon down here. In fact, there are 3 Pokemon that we want to catch. Paris is the first. That is perfect. Oh no! Well, I guess I have to catch this non-glowing one now. Unfortunately, I would have liked the glowing one, but I ran into this one first. And it would be kind of slow to just run away from this only to get the glowing one for the increased experience. I'm waiting for an attack here to get a guaranteed excellent, basically. Because there's also an experience multiplier for catching something with the first throw. So if I throw while it attacks, I lose that multiplier, which early on can make quite the difference. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure to get the multiplier there. This will evolve the Metapod into Butterfree. And I do want to get rid of that as soon as possible, because if Butterfree hits level 13, it's gonna want to learn 3 moves at once, which is super slow. So yeah, I'm gonna just deposit that immediately.
Just as a heads up on your tracker, you're missing Magikarp and Mankey.
Yes, that is something I would do. Thank you.
Yep.
I am kind of notorious for forgetting to mark things on my tracker.
Yep. And Paris, actually.
Paris, yeah, I mean, I just caught that, so. But that is true, thank you. I have a tracker here to keep track of what I caught. It doesn't show on stream, but yeah, it's just a good thing to have. So we don't accidentally catch too much or too little. We also want to catch a Geodude and a Clefairy if one would spawn. We didn't even get the 2 Moonstones, and I accidentally dismissed the squad trainer. There we go. Just want to catch this Geodude now.
There are lots of Zubats around here, as you might have been able to notice, but we're actually going to delay our Zubat catch until...
I got the bad Geodude cycle.
Until Rock Tunnel instead of Mount Moon.
So there's a cycle with Geodude where you can just throw during its attack and get a pretty guaranteed excellent, but there's really no way to tell, I think, whether you're on that cycle or not, and I just wasn't, so I didn't get the excellent there. Also, if I don't get a Clefairy catch here, I'm kind of screwed experience-wise, so I would really like to get one, which means I'm just gonna go right back out and back down again, and hopefully we'll get one, otherwise I'll just leave here. I don't wanna be stuck in Mount Moon forever. Perfect, hello!
Yeah, so a lot of being really good at this game is knowing exactly kind of understanding what the Pokemon do in terms of how they move around or how their attacks are timed. And so that's really a lot of what goes into getting these fast catches. You see a lot of top runners only miss maybe even only 1 or even no catches the entire run, which is insane. Just if you're not experienced with the game, but you lose so much time if you miss any catches, and you miss out on experience. So there's a lot of knowledge that goes into that.
Kind of unfortunate that I only got a great catch there on the Clefairy, which is kind of unfortunate because Clefairy is the best Pokemon to catch for experience in Mount Moon. That isn't also super hard to catch. Yeah.
My PB had 2 Clefables, 2 Chanseys, and 0 Paris in Mount Moon.
Oh no. But I only got a great, so I didn't get the maximum experience out of that catch because I got a little impatient and threw too early. But it's fine, we have enough experience on the Pikachu to get by. Just would have been nice to get that little tiny bit more.
The experience threshold that we're talking about is in order to hit level 15 for Misty. Like I said, there's a requirement to be level 15 to enter her gym. If you don't meet that requirement by the time you hit Cerulean City, you can head north first, but that's fairly slow to the section north of Cerulean before the gym.
I've actually never done that in Pika, so I first only ran Eevee version. So I learned the game with that version, and I did do early Nugget Bridge a couple of times with Eevee. But I've never once done that with Pika because, you know, if you've run this game for a while, you just tend to reset after Mount Moon if you didn't get to level 15 because it's kind of slow to go Nugget Bridge first. So I actually wouldn't even know how to do that. I don't know the strat for that. So yeah, if you get to roughly level 14 and a quarter, you will be fine from the battle experience here at Mount Moon to hit level 15 before you get to Misty, which, yeah, we got that. We are probably gonna hit level 15 on the final fight here, or maybe even a little bit sooner. Yeah, looks like we are actually gonna be hitting level 15 on the next fight here. Which is a little late. Usually you do want to be level 15 before this next fight. This is the Super Nerd fight. And in Eevee, this fight can be pretty dangerous. Less so in Pikachu, because if you're underleveled and you can't OHKO his Pokemon, they can confuse and paralyze you. But Pikachu obviously can't be paralyzed by electric type moves, so we're fine on that end. But we could still be confused and hit ourselves and lose a bunch of time, or maybe even die to this Magnemite that's coming out next. But if we hit level 15 in time, like we just did, the double kick is pretty much guaranteed to... don't want to keep Thunder Wave. Double kick is pretty much guaranteed to one-shot the Magnemite, so let's hope that we don't have really bad attack. Oops, double kick. Okay, good.
That looks good, yeah.
And I think that was only the second AV that we've actually seen, and that one went into speed, which is very useful for this minus speed.
Yeah. That's the downside of evolving Bulbasaur. Does want to learn 2 moves at level 14, but it's fine. We're going to be picking a fossil here, and it's just faster to pick the Helix fossil. So yeah, praise it, or whatever.
I gotta break out the Twitch global emote for that. There we go.
In most games, it's just faster to pick up Helix anyway. So.
Yeah, and we're about to fight Justin James here. So this is a recurring boss fight for the run. And it's always a double battle, which funnily enough means that the second controller doesn't actually do anything in here, because it's always going to be a double battle that is led by the main trainer. So we're going to be Thunder Shocking the Ekans here. Forgot the strat for a second. I'm going to be using an X special attack on Pikachu. X items again are items that just improve or buff our stat for the duration of the battle. So that really helps us out a bunch. Oh, nice. This is supposed to go for coughing first. Doesn't really matter to me. We still got through this fight in 2 turns.
That's good.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to go for coughing first.
Eevee brain.
Absolutely. You need to use the physical move Headbutt in this fight. And coughing is pretty bulky physically, so you tend to go for Ekans first to one-shot it and get it out of the way. But yeah, because we used the special move Thunder Shock here, I guess I should have just gone for coughing instead of Ekans, but I have been preparing for Eevee a little bit more this past week, because usually Eevee wins those bit wars, if there's a version bit war. So yeah.
Wow, that Mankey was on an adventure.
Yeah, that's straight far off of the patch of grass where it would have spawned. Well, we made it to Cerulean, and we're gonna enter the Pokemon Center. We're not gonna use it to heal. Instead, we're gonna talk to this guy over here. He's a move tutor, and he can teach us a special move for this special partner Pikachu, Zippy Zap. Zippy Zap is a very interesting move. I actually keep forgetting what the base power is, but it's a physical electric type move that has
70, I think.
Yeah, it might be 70. That has a priority of +2, so it's faster than Quick Attack. And it also always crits. So if you're familiar with Pokemon Scarlet, this is Meowscarada's Flower Trick, but, you know, on steroids.
It's actually 50 base power.
Oh, okay, so it's not that good
With
in the
stab,
end.
it's 75, so I was close, technically.
So we're gonna
Crit,
just...
so it gets another 1.5. So.
Yeah. The Eevee actually gets 3 special moves there, so Pika runners kind of got a little bit on the a little bit owned by the game. You get 3 really good moves on Eevee there. I don't remember Sizzly Slide, Zippy, or no, that's Pikachu's. One of them's fire, one of them's
Fuzzy Buzz, yeah.
Buzzy Buzz. There's
Bouncy Bubble.
Bouncy Bubble, that's right. So there's a water, a fire, and electric move.
Ooh, I need to know what my attack is.
Which just the 3 of them gives Eevee extremely good coverage.
Oh no. I did not set up a screenshot button for this OBS.
The OBS.
Yeah, so I actually don't know what my attack is, which means I'm just gonna do a safety heal here in case this Pikachu is not strong enough to Oko the Starmie. So usually I take screenshots on every level up, so I can take all the time in the world to check my stats. I pressed my usual screenshot button, but did not work out. Actually, can I maybe do this while I'm running? For the future. Just gonna set up an X attack here because we are gonna be using Zippy Zap, which, like I said, is a physical move. So we do want our attack to be pretty high.
Yeah, and usually the extra text box on critical hit would be a disadvantage, but the text boxes are so fast in this game.
Okay, we got the one shot.
You one shot the Starmie, I'm so jealous. That Starmie loves to use Scald, and Scald has a 30% chance of burning. But when this Starmie uses it, it's about a 70% chance of burning.
And burn is really annoying because...
It always seems to burn.
Yeah, it's really annoying because, well, for one, it's a damage tick in every turn, so you keep taking damage from the burn. But it also halves your attack, so that would be really, really bad, both for Eevee and for Pika. So getting the one-shot here is very nice. It's not guaranteed. If your Pika is bad, you might not get it. But this Pika is decent. I just saw it was 38 attack, 39 special attack at level 16, I think. So I will actually have a range on the double kick here in the rubber fight. Anyway, he sends out Pidgey first. Pidgey, of course, is also weak to an electric type move, so we can just use Zippy Zap again. He's used that. Next, he sends out an Oddish, and this Oddish is not very nice because it can poison us, which we would need to heal, which would take up time. We're gonna use a Headbutt here, hope that we get... Yeah, amazing.
Awesome.
Headbutt has a chance to flinch, which means that the Pokemon doesn't get to attack that turn. And we got that chance, so it didn't even have the chance to go for the poison move.
I read the green one,
No. So this double kick is not guaranteed to... No, it's not going to take out the Eevee. That is really unfortunate. I'm just going to use Quick Attack now. Actually, no, he goes for the potion. That was the wrong call. But I guess I can Quick Attack now. I hope he doesn't potion again. No, okay. Forgot about the potion. So 1 point in attack more would have meant that the double kick was guaranteed. And this one had an 83% chance to still OHKO the Eevee, but I missed that.
So now we're entering Nugget Bridge, which is 6 fights in a row, and none of them are terribly interesting. At least in Eevee, I don't know if they are in Pika.
No, they are definitely not. Okay. So this is the perfect time to hand it over to the host. There's something to say.
Yeah, well, I just want to remind people what we're here to do, and that is to raise money for One Tree Planted. One Tree Planted is a charity that's focused on reforestation. They plant a tree for every dollar that's donated. And if you are curious about their reliability rating, if you go to Charity Watch, they have a 95% rating, which is absolutely excellent as far as charities go. Their vision is they want to make it simple for anyone to help the environment by planting trees. Together, we can restore forests, we can create habitats for biodiversity, we can make a positive social impact around the world. And again, they plant one tree for every dollar that gets donated. Looks like so far we have raised 314 trees in this marathon. We have a goal of 1,000. And you out there in chat, you at home watching, you can make that happen by heading over to our donation page and getting your donations in. Thank you so much to everybody who is here to watch and run and to be together. And yeah, happy Earth Day, everybody. Back to you.
Thank you. I just summoned the second controller, and this is the first fight that we're actually going to be doing in a 2v1, which I guess is kind of unfair. But we like to use it because it makes the game easier for us. The reason I do this is so that I can both one-shot the Sandshrew with the Oddish's Absorb, and also get a free turn where I can heal the Pikachu because I was getting pretty low after missing that double kick range on the rival.
Yeah,
but
so
yeah.
Initially, I think when the game came out, there was, in terms of the leaderboards, the way it worked is that I believe you could not do the second controller.
Correct.
So everything was done with a single controller, and it was bad. I wasn't actually in the community or involved at the time, but I've heard stories. It was pretty brutal.
From what I understand, they initially banned the second controller because they thought it would just make the game too easy. But then someone did a run with the second controller just to see, and they're like, this is so much better.
Yeah, because not only does it make fights potentially easier by, being able to 2v1, but also it makes catches safer, because two-controller catches are more likely to actually catch the Pokemon. So there used to be 10, 20 breakouts maybe over the course of a run. And, with a two-controller strat, you would maybe get 1 or 2 breakouts. So that's so much more consistent, so much faster, that the community just decided it would be allowing the two-controller strats. Well, we have reached the end of Nugget Bridge, and we are about to fight the Rocket Grunt here. At the end of it, the Grunt has a Zubat and a Coughing, and yeah, our attack is not amazing. So we don't have a way of one-shotting the Coughing, which means I will go for a backup strat, which could still end up getting us poisoned again. Let's see. I will headbutt again, hope for the flinch one more time. Otherwise, I just hope that the Coughing misses its attack. Oh, got the flinch again.
Nice.
Amazing.
Let's go.
So yeah, if your attack's really good, Zippy Zap will OHKO that Coughing, but our attack is only okay. It's not terrible, but won't win us any awards. So now we will go through this area. What the
Squirtle!
heck? This is good. I have to
What?
catch this. I'm sorry, I have to catch this because I've never seen this.
Yes.
I've
That
never
is
seen a Squirtle spawn
insanely
here.
rare.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Of course, this was going to happen during a marathon.
Yeah. Of all of the runs that I've seen of this game, I think this is only the second Squirtle I've ever seen spawn here.
So yeah, usually you're not supposed to catch anything here unless you're really desperate for it, for experience or catches. But
First
Hey.
of all,
Squirtle is like a 0.5% chance to spawn here, if at all. So I just had to go for it.
that's
so
awesome.
close to the Bulbasaur evolution as well.
That's
That'll
why,
happen
yeah.
on the next fight.
Alright, so rare Char in Rock Tunnel, right?
Let's get all three starters.
That's true, we do have to get the rare Char now. I'm not gonna catch anything else though. You could catch the Venonat potentially, but we already got the extra Squirtle, so
And
We're
Psyduck we
all-
can catch later as well, so.
yeah. I'm about to do a little skip of these guys. So
Trainer Vision's weird in this game.
yeah, that was the first of 4 trainer skips that we do by just about sneaking around their line of sights. Because in the original games, you were supposed to fight at least one of those 2 that I just skipped. But in this game, for some reason, the lines of sight of the trainers are very narrow and very short. So I can just kind of snake in between them and not actually have to fight them. And there are 3 other situations in the rest of the run where we can abuse a similar narrowness of the lines of sight.
Which is actually a great time to talk about this category, which is 80% NMS, and the NMS stands for No Mount Skips. It was discovered a while ago that because of the way that the trainer vision works, while you are on either Rapidash or Aerodactyl, you can move past trainers in such a way where you walk right in front of them and they don't see you. It's fairly pixel perfect, so it's difficult to do unless you have specialty controller. It's almost impossible to do unless you have specialty controllers, and even then it's difficult. So that's what the NMS in the category name stands for. Is we will not be doing those mount skips.
No, I'm using standard run-of-the-mill Joy-Cons here, so I won't be able to do that. I think the window for those skips is less than a frame, if I recall correctly, so...
Yeah, I think you have to deal with your sub-pixel at that point.
Yeah. It's really, really tight, the timing there, and it's basically impossible to reliably do that with regular Joy-Cons. Anyway, we are about to turn this Nidorino back into a human. It's Bill. Face of...
Pitching Bill.
Yeah, Face of Ditching Bill. There is a category extension of this game called Ditch Bill, which has the goal of getting here and then leaving before turning him back, and that's the end of the run. That's a very short run, like 30 to 40 minutes, based on another runner of the game accidentally ditching Bill on one of their actual PB attempts in another category, and then having to go back and redo the cutscene, losing a bunch of time. I still can't believe that I got the Squirtle in a marathon run.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are you going to be evolving it?
I don't think so. I didn't pay attention. What level was it at?
It's gotta be like 13 or 14 that it comes
Probably
out.
Maybe
right.
worth it. It's like a
Maybe,
bubble.
yeah. Actually, yeah. Let's evolve that. Why not? This is gonna kind of mess up my catch route, but you know, that's the beauty of Let's Go. You have to adapt on the fly.
Is this going to be an impromptu AOP run?
I don't think so. I don't think the schedule allows for that. So that's
No,
another
that's
category.
Yeah, it's a category you can catch all the Pokemon available to you without trading. So I don't remember what the exact number is. It's well over 100 for sure. And,
135, yeah.
it's a very long run with quite a lot of RNG.
I was gonna say this is it's an impromptu bootleg Ash run.
All right,
Oh,
that's
sure.
another category extension.
Yeah, we're very creative with our categories.
PSR likes to have
Lots
interesting
of
categories.
Yeah. So we are making our way to Vermilion City now, site of the third gym battle, eventually. Though actually, I hope you don't like gym battles too much because we won't be doing them for another hour plus. So Misty is the last gym leader we do until roughly the 2-hour mark. Because it just works out that way.
And if you're not familiar with with Let's Go speedruns, I want you to guess what the third gym leader we fight is.
All right, we will be passing through the underground here because, of course, the way to Saffron is blocked by some thirsty guards. Not as thirsty as our rival here, getting a little bit too close to us in that cutscene, but, you know, they just want something to drink, and we can't provide them with anything right now. So we will have to take the long way through the underground. But luckily, there are a couple of useful items down there that we can pick up. I'm just gonna go downstairs. And then there is one hidden item here, exactly where the 5th row of lamps is gonna be, right here. This is a nugget, which is just a selling item that sells for 5,000. What's the currency? Pokémon dollars. And, you know, there's another lure right here that we are immediately gonna use on Route 6 when we get there. So right now, I'm actually going to do an extra menu here to get rid of the Ivysaur so that it doesn't overlevel. It's level 13. Ugh, I'm not going to evolve it, sorry.
No.
I'm already not playing very ideally here, and I do want to finish within the estimate. So I just lured again so that everything on this route will spawn at the highest possible level. Oh, hi. We
That's good.
are gonna catch a pupper here, which does mean that I will skip the rare candy that is on the other side of this route. I do need to switch back to one Pokeball here because otherwise I will be running out of great balls. Take these. Thank you. So the reason why we are excited to see the pupper outside of it being a pupper is that because Pika is kind of limited by its move pool, you know, it really only gets electric type moves, we do have to rely way more on our second controller in the Pika run. And we will be using Growlithe as our partner for the next 20 or so minutes. So getting the Growlithe first thing on this route is really good because now it will also get all of the experience from the other potential catches on this route, which will just make it stronger. All right, Jigglypuff. Another catch. You always want to immediately throw the ball there.
Yeah, that thing moves around a lot.
Yeah, if you wait too long, it starts floating, or you know, it starts attacking. It's really an annoying catch if you don't immediately throw the ball. Now I could also catch a Pidgey here if I see one. Maybe if I see a glowing one, I would catch a Pidgey. You can delay the Pidgey catch because it spawns at a level later in the run where it just takes 2 levels to evolve into a Pidgey. Oh, no, Abra.
Oh, excellent Route 6.
Excellent, yes. Abra's a very rare spawn as well. 5% I think to spawn.
The other
So
thing
getting
that's
one here,
tricky
really
about
nice.
Abra is that if it sees you, then it just teleports away. And so the fact that this one spawned turning away from us was also lucky.
And first ball, really good.
Yes,
so
sadly I
she,
did- yeah.
she used the Nana berry there, which forces it to stomp, which makes it far easier to catch. And then it also kind of spawned off center, so you have to kind of do a side catch, side throw. These are really tricky if you're less experienced.
All right,
I
next-
struggle with them quite a bit. So
Here's the toughest trainer skip. Another
I did
Abra.
not hit it, of course I
That
didn't.
one looked good.
I hate this skip. I practiced it. I hit it 3 times in a row before before the marathon today. But yeah, I suck at this skip. You have to walk exactly in the center of the 2 trainers, and then you don't have to fight them. But I missed that, so now we have to defeat this Bad Sprout, which just takes a little bit of time.
and the good news is on the way back, you can just hug the right side and
You flinched it again.
I do get the flinch check, so that is... It's something. Still kind of frustrating because it's 30 seconds left to this optional
got a
trainer.
couple great balls out of it too.
That is true, I guess, yeah.
Gotta take the silver lining.
So now it's time for the second chomp.
And I do have to really focus on this one because I tend to mess it
You
up.
want us to be quiet?
No, you can talk during it, I just can't.
Yeah, so we're gonna sell 3 nuggets, a Helix fossil, and then actually all of our Pokeballs. And the main reason why is because there was an update to how, or we found out more details about the catch formula last year sometime. I don't remember exactly when. And it turns out previously we had made the assumption
No.
that the
Sorry.
no, go ahead. Sorry. That the Pokeball in the second slot didn't matter, so we were just using Pokeballs all the way through. But actually, it does make a fairly big difference in the catch formula because it averages the strength of your 2 Pokeballs. So we're selling all of our Pokeballs because from here on out, we just want to use Great Balls.
And also, I just left there with exactly 4 Pokedollars, so you can see how tight the money route for this is actually made.
You got extra money from that trainer too, so.
Yeah, that is true. I guess I would have bought 1 less X Special if I didn't get that extra money. This just allowed me to pick up 1 extra, which allows for some safety strats later. So that was nice. Yeah, we're gonna enter SSN here, which is one of those iconic Kanto locations. Which also means that we're gonna fight our rival. He's actually gonna greet us right at the entrance here. But before we fight the rival, we do want to swap Growlithe into slot 2 so that we can actually use it during the fight as our partner Pokemon, because the Pokemon that the support trainer uses is always going to be the Pokemon in your second slot. Unless that one is fainted, then, you know, it goes to the 3rd slot and so on and so forth. So we do want to make sure not to have the Oddish in there, but the Growlithe. If the Abra had somehow evolved, for instance, by, you know, us catching it first and then catching Jigglypuff and Growlithe later, then we could have also used Kadabra, which is actually the better option. But, you know, I'm not complaining. Getting Abra there is really nice. Also, we just left our rival downstairs, but he's gonna come down those stairs right now, which, you know, I guess I can talk about my headcanon because I do think this rival can teleport. This is the 2nd time in this run that supports this theory. The first time was in Viridian City, actually, right around the 9-minute mark, where he just kind of walked off screen but vanished before he actually hit the edge of the screen. So he just vanished right before our very eyes.
I can believe that. Headcanon accepted.
Thank you. So, that's the wrong way to get to the X attacks. We're fighting this with 2 controllers. I just used Zippy Zap again. We hit level 20 here, which is perfect. That is the level we want to be at, basically 4750. And then we use another zippy zap for this Eevee, and we use... Nope, that was wrong. I did not need to go to the back. Instead, I want to use Helping Hand, which is a nice move for double battles, where the partner Pokemon gives up its turn to boost the attack of the other Pokemon. And we're going to be using Helping Hand a lot as well throughout the run. This one, though, Growlithe actually gets to attack by using Flamethrower. Really strong move to have at level 16 when we caught it. Actually, never mind, it was level 17 already, but still, pretty amazing. Definitely wasn't the case in Gen 1. So that is really helpful. Kadabra could have helped us out with Psybeam here, which is also a pretty strong Psychic type move. We're gonna go up these stairs now and pick up what used to be the HM Cat, but in this game the HMs got replaced by so-called secret techniques that our partner Pokemon is just gonna learn and be able to perform outside of battle without having to waste a move slot. So Pikachu is actually gonna be doing all of the cutting throughout the run. Alright. And now it's time to leave.
So as we leave the SSN, we're going to get a short cutscene where the game tells us that, hey, we should be fighting Lieutenant Surge. And we are not going to do that.
Yeah, we could, but at this point of the run, Pikachu would probably really struggle with, an electric type gym. So that's not great. And also, if you do search third, there's going to be an extra cutscene afterwards with Misty showing up and telling you to go through Diglett Cave to pick up what used to be HM Flash. And by postponing search to, any other slot in the gym order, we won't have to sit through that cutscene. So that's another reason why we don't do search. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. Actually, I only found out about that because my partner played through the game for the first time casually after I already started speedrunning it. And then I saw that cutscene and I was like, I usually don't get to see that. Interesting. The things that you learn by going slow in this game. Anyway, we return back up to Cerulean, but we're gonna turn east when we get there, cut through one of the bushes and head down Route 9. Another Abra, nice. So I guess we are on a catch chain right now. And the 2 trainer fights that we are going to have to do on Route 9 are another reason why we do have to have a partner Pokemon here, because those can get pretty tricky. So the first trainer here, Picnicker Alicia, has an Eevee. And this Eevee can be pretty annoying if you can't take it out in one hit, because it has Sand Attack and Growl. Sand Attack lowers your accuracy, so you just start missing moves, and Growl, of course, lowers your attack. So it's just pretty nice to have a partner Pokemon that can help us get this down in one hit, because we do outspeed the Eevee.
Yeah, one thing you can also do for these fights, and also the rival fight we just did, is use Kadabra as our partner. So if we got an early Abra spawn on, I don't remember what route was, but the route we caught it, Route 6, it can potentially evolve because it is 1 level away from evolving. So you can actually use Kadabra instead of a Growlithe on these 3 fights, which is an option.
Oh, that was wrong. Doesn't really matter though. So yeah, the Growlithe didn't hit level 18 before this fight, so knocking out the Gloom here was always going to be a little difficult. Had just gotten a little bit more experience on Route 6. If I hit the circle on the Abra catch, then probably could have gone through that in just 2 turns. Oh well. So right now I'm walking with both of the controllers, so I'm holding right on both of my Joy-Cons, because if the support trainer gets too far away from us, he will despawn and respawn right next to us. And while that's happening, we can't move, so it's actually pretty slow. Also doesn't make sense to you know, just dismiss him and call him back in for this next fight, because again, we can't move while that's happening, so the best thing to do is just keep him walking alongside of us. So we have to attack the Sentry with a fire type move, which seems kind of odd. Let's hope that, yeah, okay, good. We actually get the Oko here, because the Sentry can also go for sand attack and make this fight a lot harder than it has to be. But we got the one shot there, so that's very nice. And then we just Zippy Zap and Flamethrower again to take care of this Raticate.
And then once we're done with this fight, it's time for another catching section. There are 5 different Pokemon that can spawn on this next patch of grass that we're looking for. Ideally, we get at least 3 of them. But the other thing that's kind of tricky about this particular grass spot patch is that there are only 4 spawn slots available to us. So once those fill up with Pokemon we don't want, then it can get a little dicey.
That's true. That is why I will be waiting for all of those 4 Pokemon to spawn. Because of a mechanic called Catch Chains, Iron, and could you explain that real quick? Because I do have to focus on my
so
game.
when you catch a specific Pokemon, you're more likely to see the same species again.
Which is why we kept seeing Abra, even though Abra is a fairly rare spawn. Because after a single Abra catch, we were on a catch chain, so then started seeing more of them. The other side effect of being on a longer catch chain is that you see rare Pokemon spawns more frequently. So like that Squirtle that we saw, if you are on a catch chain that's longer, then you're more likely to see those Squirtles.
So if I had 2 Moonstones by getting the second Moonstone drop in Mount Moon, I could have evolved the Jigglypuff there, because that is a Moonstone evolution, but I didn't get that, so we will be waiting to use our singular Moonstone on something else. 3 Rattatas and 1 Nidorino, that is really bad.
That's not good.
Of the 5 Pokemon that I mentioned that can spawn here, Rattata is the least important, because there are several spots later where you can catch it as well. So this is kind of adding insult to injury.
Excuse me. It's pretty cold this morning, so I started the run out with a blanket, but it's getting warmer in here. So I just had to get rid of that. Alright, we got the Rattata, but yeah, that is really unfortunate. I guess I have to... Oh, perfect. Never mind. The slot that I just freed up gave us a Nidoran male, which is exactly what we want on this route.
I want to talk about why Nidoran male is important, because I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause you don't use it in Eevee.
That is true.
Yeah, Nidoran is a great Pokemon because it's 1 level away from evolving into Nidorino, and then you have a Moonstone to evolve it into Nidoking. And Nidoking's just a fantastic partner Pokemon. As you remember, we used Oddish for a bit as a partner. We've used, well, actually, kind of used Oddish for a few fights just on its own. But we used Growlithe for quite a bit earlier as well. But Nidoking is just so good. It gets a pretty good moveset. It also has Helping Hand as well, to help out with boosting Pikachu's moves. And yeah, it just does a great job. It's even used solo, I believe, depending on certain circumstances. It's been a little while, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we do use Nidoking as our solo Pokemon for a couple of fights in the mid-game. But in general, it's just a great partner Pokemon because it knows Helping Hand. It has Poison Jab, which is a pretty strong poison type move. So it does get same type attack bonus on that. It's also just strong in general, so it's very nice to have. We could have also done this with Nidoqueen, so if we had gotten a Nidoran female, we could have made that work as well. It's slightly less good because Nidoran female gets Crunch instead of Poison Jab, so it doesn't get that same type attack bonus on Crunch, which means it's gonna hit slightly less hard.
Yeah, Nidoqueen also has less attack than Nidoking.
That's
a little bit more defensive, but yeah.
That is true.
But I remember one run I did, I found a shiny Nidoran, and I thought it was a Nidoran female.
Oh,
Because it was the shiny Nidoran male is like the same color as Nidoran female. And I was very surprised when it evolved into Nidorino. But anyway,
that's actually, like, if we saw a shiny Pokemon, I could probably catch it as long as it's not actually something we want to use in battle, because if you use shiny Pokemon in battle, it would always take an extra second where the "hey, it's shiny" animation will play. So that would not have been great for our purposes. I just did that fight. Oh god, really?
oh,
no.
Chansey.
I'm not gonna go for
That's where it
Chansey.
spawned.
Okay, this is just cursed. I need
Oh, that's really
something
bad.
to spawn. That's
Yeah,
what we
so
have to repel for.
doing that fight resets the route, and then using a repel also resets the route.
Okay, Nidoran female, that's good.
Yeah,
Krabby,
thank
excellent.
Krabby.
Okay,
Okay, no
Good,
Spearow,
so we-
it's still good.
we got everything we need. It's kind of sad to have to use the lure here, the repel, I mean. You can reset the catches by using a repel and then immediately using a lure again. But we only have that one repel for the entire run. So if something like that happens again at a later point, I'm kind of screwed. So let's hope that doesn't happen. And just go on for now. So that was Nidoran female, and Krabby is the next thing we want to catch. There are 4 catches that are basically exclusive to this route. Spearow, the Tornadoes, and the Krabby. And I always want to catch 3 out of 4 of those. So with this Krabby, that makes 3. Didn't see the Spearow. Might still spawn on our way off of the route. But depending on how far away I am at that point, I might not even catch it, because we did get the Squirtle, so we are good in terms of catch count in general. This also evolves the Audition to Gloom and the Rattata into Eradicate. Let's see, there we go. I'll take a sip of water here. Always a good idea to keep hydrated during a 3-hour run.
26 entering tunnels, pretty good.
I hope I didn't miss anything, but I'm pretty sure it's correct.
Yeah, it was just,
Your tracker matches mine.
Okay, good. So yeah, these evolutions all take like 30 seconds. Which is, I guess, pretty slow. It's still faster than actually catching a Pokemon, but it is slower than getting a gift Pokemon like the Magikarp that we bought. Guess that wasn't a gift, but it's still slower than buying a Pokemon or getting a gift Pokemon. There are 2 more gift Pokemon that we can get in this run, and we are gonna get both of them because, like I said, they are... Oh, hi Spearow.
Nice.
Do you want to catch that if I see it?
27 entering tunnel.
Did already dismiss the second controller here, which isn't quite optimal, but it's fine. We can always just call it back in. Question is, I probably need to cut some catches right now, otherwise... Yeah, I don't need to go for Tentacool later. I can probably skip one of either Machop or Cubone, depending on what I see. Actually, I could probably skip both, but I do need to also keep my experience in mind.
that's good you're not going for Zubat either. That one's pretty bad.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I just adjust when we get
Oh, yeah, they're in here too. That's good.
Yeah. 28 now, going into tunnel.
Which is kind of crazy because 32 exiting tunnel is generally considered pretty solid, and we're going to be catching a decent number of Pokemon in tunnel, so only be 4 short of that already.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I have entered Rock Tunnel with a higher catch count before, so I think I have actually have hit 30 or 31. Just by getting basically all of the optional catches early on. But 28 is pretty phenomenal. I just heard something, but I didn't see anything, so we're just gonna do this fight. Oh, it's just a Graveler down there.
Well, remember, we still need to get Charmander.
We do still need to catch Charmander. In that case, I really do need to get rid of both Cubone and Machop. So this just adds to Thunderbolt. Easy as that. We do hit level 24 in battle here, which on the one side gives us a look at our stats, which I guess is nice, 56, 58, but it also takes a little bit longer to mash through all of those text boxes in battle as compared to outside of battle. Really? Okay, come on. I'm gonna catch the Machop. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna skip the Cubone then. I can't not catch it. 2 Machops right there, just taunting me. So no Cubone. I guess I can also skip the Zubat. And then I can skip something else later. Probably like Psyduck or Pidgey. Okay, that's Nidorina from the evolution, and this is the perfect opportunity to do some party management because we can deposit quite a few things here, and we still need to get some of those things that we caught on Route 10 back into the party. Actually, right now my catch count is uneven, so I'm considering not withdrawing one of the pokes. Probably, actually, I will not evolve the Machop. Machop is one of those Pokemon that need 4 levels to evolve. But most of the things that we are gonna catch from now on are gonna be evolving exactly once, so they will always be worth 2 catches, basically, for the catch total. So having an uneven catch count right now is kind of inconvenient. That was not what I wanted. No, that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to actually withdraw at least the Spearow. Yeah, that's good then. We do want to catch the Graveler.
The Graveler catch is fairly important because it's a large chunk of XP, so it's going to do a lot for really all 4 Pokemon that are still in the party. We're looking to evolve 2 of them and just get more XP on Pikachu and Nidorino for the fights.
We're also going to look for, ideally, a Rhyhorn here. Because Rhyhorn is a ride Pokemon. That's a fairly decent one to have. There are faster ones, but it's great if you get it early, because you can move faster.
Yeah, it also allows you to do a sneaky little trick in the Pika version, and in Pika version only, if you get it early, because you can then swap to Arcanine at a very particular point in the run as your ride Pokemon, and that saves a little bit of time and a little bit of items, I guess. We do need to do this fight with one controller. I was looking for the Rhyhorn there, didn't get it. The earlier you get it in Rock Tunnel, the better, because again, getting a ride Pokemon is the only way to increase your movement speed in this game. There are no bikes, there's no way to... That was the wrong thing. I needed to act special attack. It's unfortunate. Actually, I probably should have just double kicked, maybe. Oh, that was a lot of damage. Okay, no, that was a very convenient crit, because otherwise I could have been in trouble here.
So does that affect your X attack count later, or do you have any extras?
It does affect the X attack count a little bit. I will have to keep that in mind, but I should be able to work with this.
Is it going to be a Fire Blast on blue then?
Might be, yes. Or I can potentially save an X attack in Rocket Hideout. That was a Zubat, but I'm going to skip Zubat. Doesn't give much experience, and we're so many catches ahead that it is not worth to go for it. Also the Cubone, same thing there. 2 Cubones, this is just getting out of hand. I keep luring mostly for the meme Charmander spawn here. And the Rhyhorn.
You can also see Kangaskhan here, but that's very rare and a very bad catch.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone has ever gone for it at 80%, although maybe.
I've thought about it. Haven't done it.
I need to give a Moonstone to this Nidorino. I should have done that in the previous menu. So the big thing why we are using Nidorino as our partner Pokemon is specifically enemy Rhyhorns, because Pikachu has no good way of dealing with it. The only thing that we can do is use Double Kick, but even then, we most of the time don't really have a way of dealing with it unless we use Helping Hand on our partner Pokemon. you know, because I just used an X attack, so my attack was already buffed. But it still wouldn't have been enough with double kick because Rhyhorn is very physically bulky and double kick is a physical attack. So even then, I still needed the helping hand, and that's going to be even more extreme in a fight later on. Perfect.
Oh, there it
Thank
is.
God. I was afraid I was going to have to do the backup strats. If you don't get a Rhyhorn, that is always a little bit of a pain. Just to see one here is a huge relief for a marathon setting. Alright, that's Rhyhorn. So now I can menu. I'm gonna immediately select the Rhyhorn as our right Pokemon. And I'm also gonna give a Moonstone to the Nidoking or the Nidorino right now so that it evolves into Nidoking. I guess I can also get rid of the Fearow and the Graveler. Yep. Perfect. So we always want to combine menus, you know, do a lot.
Multiple things.
Yeah, do multiple things. Thank you. Was struggling with the words right there. So you do as many things as possible on one singular menu, which is why I sometimes wait a little bit longer to do another menu to, for instance, to party management or to heal or something like that, just so I can reduce the total amount of menus, because every time you do go into the menu, there will be, you know, that little animation for the bag opening. I don't want to deposit this. What am I doing? Do want to deposit this. And then we want to go into this, use the Moonstone on Nidorino. So that's another evolution. Gets to 34 catches right now.
And party management in this section in particular is tough to keep track of because it takes a lot of skill to do it, I guess. Just because there's so many Pokemon that you're catching in this section and evolving and moving Pokemon around and making Rhyhorn your ride Pokemon. So it takes a lot of practice to be good and at this particular section of the game.
Yeah, this is the big run-ender, basically. This catching section, this entire part of the game, the mid-game, is really where a lot of runs go to die. Because it's so easy to make a mistake or to get some bad RNG that really throws you off. So we use another X attack right here. We do this so that I can heal Pikachu to full on turn 2. You could also do this fight by just using Helping Hand twice with Nidoking, but, you know, by using an X attack, we get that attack boost that we need to also knock out the Kadabra here. And we can just use this to give the Pika a potion. It's just nice to have it at full health for the upcoming rival fight. Because otherwise, we could get in trouble there.
Wait, you didn't, I don't think you got on Rhyhorn yet.
That is true, thank you. There we go. Is the spinner facing? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, so now we're moving a bit quicker, which is nice.
Yeah, I think Rhyhorn saves about, 55 seconds if you catch it as soon as you can?
I actually don't know. I just know it's faster. So yeah, there are a bunch of different Pokemon that you can ride in this run. Some of them make you faster, some of them actually make you slower. So we're just gonna focus on the ones that make us, no, we just wanna attack here. That was Eevee Brain. In Eevee we set up another X item here in turn 1, but not in Pika. We just Zippy Zap twice. Sadly we did get a fake out there out of the Meowth, which is a priority move that has even higher priority than Zippy Zap, and that will always make us flinch. So we still are going into the next fight with a little bit of chip damage, but that's fine. Alright. And this means we can now leave Rock Tower. Don't have to lure anymore. I'm already pretty low on lures because I had to repel and lure again on Route 10. So I really have to conserve. Actually, that probably means I will have to skip Ghastly later because I don't think I want to lure for Pokemon Tower the second time around. But that works out with our Cut Shot.
See a Ghastly anyway.
Yeah, Ghastly is not a rare spawn in Pokemon Tower, but because the the like
Spawn
path.
rate.
Just
Yeah.
the floor layout
pretty
is,
low.
and the spawn rate is pretty low. You don't generally see too many Pokemon as you go through Pokemon Tower.
Exactly. So I can consider skipping the Ghastly if I don't see it. I'm definitely not gonna lure for it. Which I don't know if Ghastly always spawns one level away from evolving, so I think not luring just might also mean that it doesn't make sense to go for it at all.
I can check its level real quick.
Thank you. So another big rival fight where we are going to knock out this Pidgeotto by using Thunderbolt, and Nidoking is gonna finally get to do something itself. It's gonna use an X attack on itself, not on Pika for once. And then starting in turn 2, Nidoking is actually gonna be the damage dealer of our party, and Pikachu is gonna be the support. Doesn't really have any supportive moves, but it can use items, so we're gonna use another X attack for the Nidoking here. And then use Poison Jab on the Gloom.
Yeah, so
Level 20.
Ghastly evolves at 25, so I'm not sure what the spawn rates are here, or the
The
levels are.
levels are 27 to 32.
Okay, so it would always spawn a level away from evolving. I guess I could still go for it then if I saw it. So here I wanna heal the Pika because it is getting... Oh, actually, yeah, I'm just gonna use a potion. I want to heal the Pika because it is getting pretty low, and Jolteon does like to go for a Pika first, like this. And Nidoking is strong enough to Oko the Jolteon with one Poison Jab. I'm also pretty happy about the levels here. We do want to be level 28 on Nidoking and Pikachu by the time we get to the final boss gauntlet in the Rocket Hideout, which is coming up pretty soon. And we would also like to be level 30 on the Pikachu by the time we return to Pokemon Tower. So hitting level 27 on the rival fight is a good sign for that.
So now that we've hit this floor of the tower, we are going to get scared away by ghosts. So we're just going to escape rope out and come back later.
That is true, but before we do that, I do have to do a little bit of party management here because I want the Nidoking to be in first slot so that it can carry us through the next couple of fights as our lead Pokemon. I could have just pressed left to get to the escape ropes. All right, we're out. And I guess it's been a while. I guess this is a good time to check in with our host.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to remind people about some other things that are coming up here. I know we are coming up to about the halfway point of this run, and the following run is going to be Super Metroid Ascent. And we have the traditional bid war for that one, which is either to save or abandon the animals. So if you want to influence that, by all means, get some donations in. Right now, it looks like Abandon is in the lead with $30. So we've got some making up to do to make that happen. But keep in mind that every dollar donated is a tree planted right here on Earth Day.
And would it not also be fitting for Earth Day to save the animals? I think so. So we're gonna cut through that next bush right there. Reason for that is that there is a Firestone on this patch of grass that we can use later to evolve. Come on, Pidgeotto. Spawning right in my face. You hate to see it. We can use that later to evolve Growlithe into Arcanine. And Arcanine is also a pretty fast ride Pokemon, so that is nice to see, nice to have. For now, we are gonna keep riding the Rhyhorn through the next underground. Actually, we can't ride the Rhyhorn in the underground, so it's gonna be a little bit of a cutscene more or less, because we're just gonna be holding left for about 20 seconds here. Guess this would have been the better time to do the host check-in, but oh well.
Iron, since you talked about natures earlier, do you want to talk about what we're doing next?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
wait, no, you don't. You delay it in Pika, don't you?
No, that's just an
okay.
AOP. And
No,
we
I
are
think
running
that's
for
what it
MVP.
is. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a NPC coming up, where I believe you have to pay your money, but
Yeah, 10,000.
do it. And you have to answer a couple questions, but they're color coded, so it's not too hard to mess this up. She'll effectively force all the Pokemon that will spawn from here on to be a specific nature, and so in doing so, we're gonna force everything to have a modest nature, which is plus special attack minus attack. And our main, which we're gonna use, which we're gonna catch in a little while, but we're gonna use it for the end game, does really, really good as that nature because it's not gonna use any physical attacks, and it's gonna use, it's a very good special attacker. It's not gonna matter too much for our catches because although we do catch a few Pokemon that we might be using in battle later on, like I think Rapidash could be used. And in fact, I think it uses a special attack anyway.
It would be Dodrio is the one that matters there.
Oh yeah, the Dodrio, yes. But it doesn't really matter too much. Just having that modest nature on that surprise main, which we won't mention yet, just to not spoil the surprise. That's just super, super good. People have forgotten to do this, talk to this NPC, and you find out really quickly, or sometimes you just get lucky and one you catch just happens to be a good nature. So, because it's random otherwise, the nature you see.
Yeah. And having that guaranteed 10% boost to your special attack is really, really nice. Also, this Eradicate that I just defeated is a huge pain in Eevee. Because we don't use the Nidoking as our partner there. So Eevee just has to go into this fight alone, and it struggles a lot with this Eradicate. But in Pika it's so nice because it's just a one turn, easy fights. We love to see it. Don't have to struggle. Yeah, we're gonna fight our way through the hideout here. That is hidden right underneath the game corner. And this Hypno can also be a little bit annoying because it does no Hypnosis, so if it hits that, we will get sent to sleep. Let's hope we just take it out really quickly. Sadly, I didn't get a... Yeah, there it is. Oh, died to poison. I will have to heal the sleep now before I use the Pikachu next, but for the next...
Technically a one-turn fight.
That is true. For the next fight, we can just use the Nidoking by itself, so I don't have to menu quite yet.
So Nidoking's an interesting Pokemon. If you're familiar with Gen 1, it's very, very good in Gen 1 because it just gets access to good moves and can abuse a lot of the mechanics in Gen 1. But people always ask, why isn't it used in like Fire Red, Leaf Green? Well, one reason is Poison Point, which is very slow. If you get hit by a contact move, the opponent gets poisoned. But in this case, it helped us. So...
That wasn't actually Poison Point, that was the Poison Chance from Poison Jab.
Oh, okay.
Because this
There
game
are
does
no
not have
abilities.
abilities, yeah.
That is true, yes.
Because we use ground moves on Weezing.
Yeah.
We take advantage
okay.
of that.
I forgot about that.
We don't use that, but our rival uses that in later fight, where we fight alongside the rival. Uses Boomerang on Weezings and stuff like that.
Okay, I suppose you wouldn't use Rhyhorn for Jesse James.
Well, I do use Rhyhorn. Forgot about that. Oops. Yeah. That's coming up. I didn't even think about that. So we will do this fight real quick. Oh no, I forgot to wake up the Pikachu, and now I'm using the Pikachu. That's a mistake. That will cost us a little bit of time here. I guess I'll just use the Nidoking's turn to wake up Pika, and then I'll... Oh, where's the Awakening? There it is. And then I use Thunderbolt on Pika and hope for the best. It's not gonna output the grammar, but... Yeah.
That's how many flinches you've been getting.
Poison!
Just use Headbutt. Oh. Well, I mean,
I should have.
Yeah, you can heal that now.
Yeah, I'm gonna heal that in a separate menu. Really unfortunate. So we do only have limited healing items for statuses, so getting poisoned here, not what I want to see. So I did get punished for my misplay there. Because otherwise I could have used Helping Hand, and then Thunderbolt would have O-code in turn 1, and the Grammar wouldn't have had the chance to poison us.
And now it's time to do a OSHA violation.
Yes, please do not do this at home. Turn your kids away from the stream. Don't let them see. Because we do have to get the lift key, which the guy doesn't just drop like in the original, but we have to climb through this like vent. And for that, we also have to climb on this rolling chair for some reason. Doesn't seem safe. You could have just used anything else in this room.
Yeah, anything else.
Just jump, climb on the desk right beside and then throw Pikachu in.
Yeah, we could have also just, moved the desk. Or, I don't know. Potentially even climbing on that trash can would have been safer.
There's so many options. We picked the worst.
When I was playing this casually for the first time, I literally tried to talk to everything and anything in this room before I talked to the rolling chair, because I
think I literally got stuck casually because I was like, what am I supposed to do here?
It can't be the rolling chair. So yeah, we do have to heal. Nope, thank you. We do have to heal the Pika and the King, and then Rhyhorn didn't hit level 25, sadly. But we will be using the Rhyhorn in battle now. It's just gonna make the battle a little bit harder compared to a level 25 Rhyhorn.
Yeah, I think this Rhyhorn edition is slightly new because I don't remember using it.
Yeah, this is. I don't know when this was introduced. I've only ever run this with Rhyhorn, so I think it was like.
Yeah, I was gonna say same thing.
6 to 8 months ago or something. I don't actually know when I started.
Yeah, it's been over a year since I touched this. So.
Okay. Yeah. You used to do this next fight, which is going to be a rematch with Jesse and James. You used to do that with spamming Thunderbolt on Pikachu, but Jesse and James have actually gotten pretty strong. Both of their Pokemon have evolved, which makes them pretty strong for this part in the game. So Pikachu would tend to take a lot of damage and maybe even die on the fight, which is unfortunate. So, yeah. I did not need to summon the second controller.
Like I said, with the not getting as much XP from battles, we are slowly getting out-leveled by things. Because we're not doing as many battles as the game expects, and we're not doing as many catches as the game expects. So we're not quite as high level as we should be, which is why we're definitely having to do some more extra strats to bring in extra Pokemon to have better matchups in the fights.
So yeah, we're going to be using Drill Run here, which is a pretty strong, though not entirely accurate ground type move. And yeah, had the Rhyhorn been level 25, this Arbok would have died to 1. I need to heal the King here. The Arbok would have died to 1 Drill Run. Defense stop is unfortunate, but I don't think we will get hit. Yeah, we are gonna get hit one more time. So actually, yeah, Rhyhorn is gonna die here if I don't heal it. So this fight will take another extra turn here, because we would need to use Helping Hand on Rhyhorn to get the knockout on Weezing. Yeah, but because we would have died otherwise, I did need to heal there. Unfortunate. Maybe I should have not healed the King the turn before and just used another X attack or something. Anyway, luckily the fact that Rhyhorn is poisoned and also pretty low health doesn't matter for the rest of the run, because that is the only fight that Rhyhorn does. Now we're gonna swap the Pikachu back in. And we don't really care what happens to the Rhyhorn in the back.
You just need to ride it at this point.
That is true, but we can also ride it while it is knocked out, as cruel as that sounds. So next fight in this little boss gauntlet against Archer. This guy's gonna come back later, and I'm gonna be
Archer 2. That's.
I'm gonna be crying about that a little bit on stream here, because the second fight against Archer is probably the worst fight in the game. Not necessarily the hardest, but it's pretty bad. The first fight is pretty straightforward, though. We're just gonna use Thunderbolts and use the next special attack here. Oh, nice. That was crit. This Weezing would not have died to one Thunderbolt otherwise. That's really, really nice because now we don't have to spend an extra turn healing. And there's Golbat that comes out next is also just gonna die to one Thunderbolt. So that was a really quick Archer fight to maybe make up for the fact, nope, not like this. To maybe make up for the fact that I screwed up a little bit on Jesse and James.
Now, one of these two fights, I don't remember whether it's Jesse James or Archer. If you have a minus speed nature, you can be outsped. I believe it's Archer's Golbat, but
Yeah.
in this case, because of the speed characteristic, you probably got enough AVs to be able to outspeed it.
Yes, exactly. Archer's Golbat is one of the only Pokemon in the entire run that cannot speed a minus speed Pikachu. If you're running Eevee, Eevee gets outsped by basically everything, what feels like, in comparison. So having a plus speed Eevee is actually much more valuable than having a plus speed Pikachu. But in this case, having that characteristic really paid off. So we're gonna do Giovanni 1 here, the first fight against the Team Rocket boss Giovanni. And this fight is kind of funny because what we're gonna do is we're gonna use an X attack on Pikachu's turn. Then we're gonna use an X attack as well on Nidoking's turn, also on Pikachu. So we are now at +4 attack. Then we're gonna finally attack with Pikachu in turn 2, but Nidoking is gonna use another X attack. So we are now at the maximum attack that we can achieve. +6.
I don't think I've ever seen this Pika fight.
Even this is not enough to take out the Rhyhorn. +6 attack, and we can't kill it in one double kick. So we will also use Helping Hand here. And that is what finally pushes us over the edge, so we can actually knock this Rhyhorn out in one turn.
So if you're counting at home, double kick's doing 9 times the damage it would normally do to this Rhyhorn. It's 50% on, or no, not 9 times, 6 times the amount of damage. So
Yeah,
because you're at +6, then 50% on top of that. So
exactly. So any lower than that, and it would not have worked. Alright, Giovanni gives us the Civ Scope, so we can now actually identify the ghosts in Pokemon Tower. And the thing that we're gonna notice is they're just ghosts, but they're Pokemon, I guess. So that's less scary somehow. Fine by me, because now we can actually enter. First of all, is correct. Now we can actually enter Pokemon Tower and do the part of the story over there. Which also means that we're gonna bid farewell to our lovely Pikachu really soon, because it has done its duty, almost at least. We'll do a couple more fights here before we can retire it to the box.
But it stays with you.
It does stay with me. It keeps sitting on my shoulder here, so it's not gone entirely. It's still our partner Pokemon, but we just won't use it in battle anymore. We're gonna pick up the equivalent to the HM Fly, so from now on we can actually fly to any town that we've already been to, which we're gonna use basically immediately. But before that happens, I'm gonna do a very special menu here that also is new since Iron last played this, so I'm pretty sure you... Nope, that was wrong. Like this. I'm gonna be a little confused as to what is happening here. Because I'm actually going to early evolve the Growlithe here and also select it as a ride. The strat behind this is that the Arcanine... Oh, that was wrong. Oh my god, that was wrong. I'm not supposed to evolve it yet. That's a mistake. Let's hope for the best, though. Keep making some very unfortunate mistakes today. Let's hope I don't get punished for this. Actually, you're supposed to keep the Growlithe around and evolve it after Pokemon Tower, but you're already supposed to get it into the party, because what we want to do here is we want to sacrifice the Growlithe to Jesse and James, basically. We want it to get knocked out there.
Okay.
If it gets knocked out, which I hope will still happen now, even though it's evolved, if it gets knocked out, it will not gain any experience from this point onward. So we can keep using it as a ride for a larger portion of the run, and Arcanine is faster than Rhyhorn. So that would have been neat. But the thing is, now that... Oops, I actually talked to the ride. That's not supposed to happen. Now that the Arcanine is fully evolved, it has higher defenses, so the AI is less likely to target it in the fight. So it's probably not actually gonna die, which also makes the fight a little scarier, on top of, you know, me potentially just having to deposit the Arcanine again and swapping back to the Rhyhorn.
Yeah, so this is a strat that, as Triv said, is fairly new. There is an option, depending on how you kind of played some of the earlier fights, to withdraw something else, and that's effectively the strat that was in the route when I ran the game. You'd catch a Pokemon that is weak to Jesse and James Pokemon, which in this case weak to poison, and use that as a sacrifice. That's another option. But having the Growlithe in your party, because then you can just use it as the ride mon, is really helpful as well. You get that little bonus.
Yeah. I'm actually going to do something else here. Gonna take some extra seconds to do this, but we're about to get a free heal from the glowing pad on the floor. But the Arcanine still has some damage on it from when we used it as our partner. And I'm gonna actually get it back in the box and immediately withdraw it again so that it keeps the damage, so it's more likely to die on Jesse and James.
That's
The
smart.
heal pad doesn't heal your box.
Yeah, the box doesn't heal in this because the box used to heal. So if you deposited your Pokemon in older games where the box was like stationary, your Pokemon would also get healed. But ever since they made the box just be a part of your bag, that is no longer the case because you could just get infinite free heals from depositing your Pokemon and withdrawing them again. Alright, so one more fight against one of these Haunters. We sadly will not reach level 30. So this fight is extra scary. And it's all because of that mistake I made. I'll pick up these Ultra Balls here. I haven't withdrawn the Arcanine, I am aware of that, but I will do that in just a second here. Before that, we are gonna come face to face with the largest ghost in here. People who have played the original games will know that this is supposed to be the mother of the Cubone that we've been seeing. But we will not actually see the conclusion of the storyline because I will just skip the final cutscene, where we would usually turn it back into a Marowak. So yeah, we don't actually get to see that. We will pick up one more item here, another rare candy. And then I guess I will withdraw the Arcanine again. Just wanted to select it as a ride as well. Oh, come on, really, Ghastly?
I guess you can catch this.
Yeah, now I have to catch it. I didn't want to catch it, but so really? Sometimes the catches on these moving Pokemon are a little strange. This is definitely gonna break out now because I didn't hit the circle. Never mind.
Or not.
That was like, I don't know, 20% likely to get caught or something. So kinda lucky, I guess.
Well, Arcanine didn't level up and get more HP and defense. So
Yes, that is
Then
good.
Pikachu also didn't level up, so it's not 30 yet.
Damn it. The one good thing that could have come from this. Alright, so I guess I have the Ghastly, so now I'm definitely gonna skip the Pidgey. Because I'd prefer to get a Psyduck over the Pidgey. Since the Pidgey would potentially want to evolve into a Pidgeot later if we caught it on the next possible route. And that's just gonna be an inconvenience. Alright, so, drumroll please. Let's hope that they focus the Arcanine. Just by sheer dumb luck. It is pretty low level.
Yeah. It's taking some damage too, so it definitely helps.
Arbok dies here. Oh, from the crit. Okay. That's actually bad. And it hits level 19 from that. Yeah, usually Arbok gets one attack off here. If this was the Growlithe, I would not have a problem with this. Okay, good.
Nice.
There we
Never
go.
punished. Never punished. Alright, there we go. We can send out the King now, and the King, of course, is very much resistant to poison type moves. So, we'll have no problem with this. One more helping hand here on the Pikachu should be enough to take out the Weezing. No! Really?
Ooh.
Unfortunate. Doesn't really matter because we do outspeed the Weezing, but yeah, if we had hit level 30 once again, just shy of the level 30 here, if we had hit it before, then this definitely would have taken out the Weezing, especially with plus 4 attack nature.
And Pikachu hit 30 now, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to use Pikachu anymore.
That's right. We're done with Pikachu. Can now go into the box and live out its days as computer code, I guess. Don't know how the
I think it's best
box
not to
works.
think about it, really.
Yeah, probably. So we rescued Mr. Fuji here. He's going to give us the Poke Flute, which will allow us to wake up sleeping Snorlaxes all over the region. I mean, there are 2 of them, but still. And we can now deposit everything that we no longer need, which coincidentally does include the Pikachu. Goodbye. And the Nidoking will swap the Gassy into first slot here, because that is a pretty fast Pokemon, and we are going to need a fast Pokemon for the Snorlax fight. And then we're going to fly right back to Celadon. So this part of the game is really Lavender Town, Celadon, Lavender Town, Celadon. Just city hopping in between.
And then we'll be coming back to Celadon later.
That is true. Not the last time that we've seen this town. We're going to talk to Brock here. He's going to actually give us the tea. You used to have to go into this house and talk to some random lady to get the tea. And we're going to be able to use the tea to get into Saffron later. He also gave us an item called Pewter Crunchies, which is an equivalent to a full heal. So the Pewter Crunchies can heal any status condition, including confusion, which is super useful for the 3rd gym that we're actually going to do in roughly 15 minutes, finally, because we can get confused in that gym, which can be really annoying. So getting this full heal right before is really nice. But yeah, we woke up the Snorlax. So now we're actually going to have to fight it, because this Snorlax is static, and static Pokemon in this game are the only Pokemon that you actually have to fight before catching it. This is also the reason why we don't catch Snorlax in this run, even though it's one of my favorite Pokemon. Instead, we're just going to run away. Goodbye. Because it's still going to go away even if we just run from it, since we woke it up and now it's grumpy and leaves. Doesn't want to nap here anymore.
Yeah, that Ghastly is also, I think, the highest level you can catch. It was 32.
Yeah, I think it would have been 33 with the lure, but yeah, so because it was 32, I was still positive that I could.
That one's particularly easy to get.
Yeah, you just have to hack the fence there and you'll be fine. So this is another major catching section. We want to catch quite a few Pokemon here, like the Dodo. Hello. Come on.
We also want a horse, but not the big horse.
Yeah, we want the baby horse. So I want to switch to Ultra Balls here, because the catches are getting a little bit trickier. Dodo, yeah, of course you were gonna do that. Doesn't really matter for the experience, it just wastes a little bit of time.
I think I once had a Dodo jump like 6 times in a row.
Yeah, Dodo can be really tricky like Paris and Mount Moon. It likes to jump a lot before finally letting you catch it. Good thing is we only have to evolve the Krabby and the Ghastly right now, so losing the experience from the first catch isn't that big of a deal. Okay, another Dodo and the Pidgeotto. I guess I could catch the Pidgeotto if I really wanted to dodge the... oh no, I want to go for the Psyduck. Oh, actually I want to go for the Pony. It's a good thing that I didn't just press on when seeing the Psyduck. Because, yeah, Ponytail's going to be alright Pokemon for the rest of the run. Because Rapidash is incredibly fast. It's one of the 2 fastest Pokemon that you can ride on, the other being Aerodactyl. That's also the reason why those 2 Pokemon are used for the mount skips in the any percent category. But because we early evolved the Arcanine, we can actually wait on evolving this pony. Usually you would just give it a rare candy, immediately evolve it, and use it as your ride. But because Arcanine is still reasonably fast, much faster than Rhyhorn for sure, we're actually going to let the Ponyta evolve from just experience that it gains from catches and battles that we're going to do.
Yeah, that's a new thing for sure for me.
Yeah, this strat was found by speedrunner Kick and Run Keith, who played a lot of Pika for a time there and found this strat to be saving like 20-30 seconds when done optimally, not like I did it. Because you can also skip one candy that you would usually use on the Ponyta. So, because I skipped the rare candy on Route 6,
Yep.
I already skipped the candy. I will have to pick up the 2 other candies that we would usually pick up in the run. But if I had picked up the Route 6 candy, I could just skip another at this point to, yeah, get that time save. Oh, there are none of berries here? I actually thought I had hit the side. Okay, that's news to me. Apparently there were hidden berries there in the bush. Done. Did the Kingler also evolve? I saw the Haunter. I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah,
okay, good. So I could have deposited them already, but I will party manage right now to get the Psyduck. And actually, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to wait for an upcoming menu.
I get a free slot. Psyduck's going in.
Yeah, that's perfect. But I do want to get rid of the Ghastly, the Arcanine, and the... well, it's evolved. Anyway, Kingler, right? Because those should not get any more levels. And we will be doing some catching still. This is another rare candy that we do want to pick up. This is very convenient, so it doesn't really make sense to skip this one. The trainers in this section have a really short line of sight, so I can just kind of run between them and don't really have to worry about getting hit by them.
Yeah, that looked risky, but it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. When I started doing this run, I was so afraid of hitting them that I used to do a very slow back-out movement where I just, went behind the benches there to definitely never hit them. But, as time went on, I figured out that, yeah, people were actually right about how short-sighted these people were. I think it looks especially scary on Arcanine because Arcanine has a little bit of a broader body compared to Rapidash, which you would be riding in Eevee version at this point. But like I said, or like Spider said, it's perfectly safe to just run past them.
So we're sitting through this short little cutscene, short in quotes, and then we're going to get Sea Skim, which is the equivalent of Surf, finally allowing us to cross water and get our new main will be captured.
Exactly, so we do have to do this part of the run without a main Pokemon, which also means that if we hit an optional trainer fight in this part, the run is basically over because that trainer is going to have much stronger Pokemon than us. So we have to be really careful with spinners and just in general other trainers that we could potentially hit by. Messing up the movement. We want to use the Super Lure. And then I also wanted to use this menu to deposit everything that evolved and that we no longer need, like this. Actually, I want to keep the Arcanine for now. Guess I could have waited a little bit longer to do this. Did not need to party manage And then we're gonna fly to Pallet Town, the town that we started out in. And we're gonna head south right here, across the water. We're gonna catch a single Pokemon on this route, and that Pokemon is not Tentacool. Not Tentacool, I said. Staryu, hey, hi.
There we go.
Yeah, you
Alright,
can
what
catch
are we getting?
Tentacool for catches, but I don't know if you need that.
1075. Can't argue with that.
Yeah. Should be a pretty solid Staryu, but I guess we'll see when we can actually look at the stats. Really? How did that not hit the circle? Sometimes the motion controls here are, yeah, just strange. Again, doesn't
Yeah,
really
part of the
matter.
reason part of the reason why the Tentacool isn't generally gone for as a catch, unless you absolutely need it, is because while you're surfing, you can't call in the partner, so you have to do all of these catches 1C. Just makes them difficult.
Exactly. So we just found the Staryu, and right here we can pick up a Water Stone, so we immediately have a way of evolving the Staryu, which is pretty convenient. And that is why Starmie will be our main Pokemon for the rest of the run. This spinner here doesn't turn to the right, so I could just pass him pretty close by. I could have probably cut it even closer, but I do tend to still want to play it safe a little bit. And this is probably where I should have done the deposit, because now I will menu, where I will use some rare candies, not on the Arcanine, but on the Staryu. Okay, yeah, this is a pretty good Staryu. Love to see it. Pretty fast. Decent special attack. We do want to teach Hydro Pump and slot 2 here. And I do always level it to 46. It's not strictly necessary, but I do it for consistency. And then we can immediately use the Water Stone and evolve it into Starmie. We don't ever want to use the Water Stone immediately, because Starmie doesn't learn Hydro Pump on its own. So you do want to hit level 45 by using the rare candies before evolving.
And this is the point where the two game versions converge.
Exactly.
Because they're both using their starters for most of it, Pikachu with some help. And then at this point, they both catch Starmie, and then the routes are more or less the exact same. The only difference at this point then would be what Pokemon your rival has.
That is absolutely correct. I do need to still... I shouldn't have done this through, I shouldn't have done this through the box. I need to do this through the party menu. I want to get this in here, and I also want to get this there and select it as our route. And then I want to deposit the Arcanine, because we don't need that anymore. Ideally, the Ponyta will hit level 40 before we leave this place. Also, hey, we got a cute pony to follow us around. We do still want to catch the Grimer. That's going to be our last actual catch of the run. I just like to use a Raspberry here to make it slightly safer. It doesn't really matter, but come on, do something. Thank you. The Grammar catch isn't completely guaranteed with 1 Ultra Ball and 1 Great Ball, and I have gotten it to break out before. So using the Raspberry just makes it more likely that it stays in where we want it. Especially because we want the experience on the Ponyta. Actually, it looks like the Ponyta won't evolve before Blaine, at least. But we get the Dodio. So we are right now at 45 catches. Getting really close to that magic number of 50. And the 5 catches that we are going to do, well, are still going to get our 3 evolutions, the Rapidash evolution, the Muk evolution, and the Golduck. And then 2 more gift Pokemon that we are going to get to that number of 50.
I do really like the Ponyta following around in here.
Yeah. We could have also gotten the Growlithe to follow us around in Pokemon Tower. If I hadn't accidentally evolved it. which is really cute. And Keith also said that was basically the main reason why he developed that strat, to get the pupper to follow you around. And I can understand that. It's really cute.
Yeah, and if we hadn't used our repel earlier, we would have been able to use it right here just to get through Mansion without having to avoid the wild Pokemon. But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
exactly.
we needed to reset the route and get the spawns we needed.
Yeah. So, Scientist Ted, this is the first fight that Starmie is gonna do, and it's immediately a pretty scary fight because of this Electrode. This Electrode knows Thunderbolts. If it crits us, Starmie's just dead. It can also paralyze us with Thunderbolts, so yeah, this is all around really scary. Okay, didn't get crit, didn't get paralyzed here, so that's nice. I was kind of hoping the Electrode would go for a Ponyta there. It is random, the target that it chooses, so I could have gone for a Ponyta as well. But we just didn't get lucky there. Luckily, there is the option to get a free heal in Pokemon Mansion. There's a bed that we can nap in just a couple of seconds here, and we are going to use that bed to get the Starmie back to full health. If the Ponyta had been hit, we could have skipped that little time loss there. Whew.
Is there an option to heal in the fight on Ponyta's turn?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if the Starmie had been hit, oh, that also spawned right underneath my feet.
I think we don't do that just for Super Potion count, would be my guess.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. The healing items can get... Oh, I could have passed him. I thought he was going to spend and I didn't want to risk it. Healing items can get pretty... The count can get pretty low here, and we do need to keep a couple of Super Potions around for the next part of the game. So that's why we take the free heal instead of healing in battle. Also, Super Potion would not have actually healed the Starmie to full there. So I'm pretty sure at least I got hit pretty hard. So, nope, not the T on escape rope. Because I used the repel earlier, the escape rope is not in its usual slot in the back that I'm used to at least. But now we have to walk of shame to the gym. Because usually the Ponyta has evolved by now and we can ride on Rapidash for this little bit.
And so quite a while ago I said, guess what the third gym leader we're fighting is? And the answer is Blaine, the 7th gym leader.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we've been waiting for. It is much more convenient to go for Blaine now since we're already here for catching the Starmie. So might as well do the gym now since, Starmie as a water type has a pretty big advantage against Blaine's fire type. I'm also going to have to focus on this to not accidentally answer a question wrong and have to do an optional trainer battle. There we go. Because you can't just mash A here. Except for the last question.
Yes, no, yes are the answers.
Yeah. Well, the last question, actually, every answer is correct. It's just variations of Blaine. So I think one is like the guy with a mustache or something. The gym leader. And just Blaine's name. All of those are options for the last question. And yeah, we're gonna set up one X special attack here in the first turn against this Magmar. And Magmar likes to go for Confuse Ray, which is why it's nice that we have those full heal items in the bag. Yeah, and we do get hit by Confuse Ray. Another thing that can happen here, which I hope it won't, is Magmar's gonna go for Flamethrower now. Okay, it has a chance to burn us, but it didn't. We would have had to use our second full heal for that. We have another one, but that is the last one we have, so having to use it here would be inconvenient. Not the end of the world, but also not great. And because the Starmie is pretty good, the rest of the fight is pretty straightforward. If we had bad speed, we could get outsped by this Rapidash, and also by the Ninetales that is going to come out last, which means we would be taking damage here. That could potentially be lethal. But the Starmie is super fast, so we're gonna outspeed both of them. No problem. Here we go. And I do hope that the Ponyta evolves now, because otherwise I will have to... Okay, perfect, good. On the last possible Pokemon, otherwise I would have had to use a rare candy to actually get it to be a Rapidash for the next part. And then I would have had to go for... Actually, no, I already missed the last chance to get a backup candy, so I kind of probably would have had to go back into Mansion or something like that. And that would have been slow.
So now that we have our main to the end of the game, we're pretty much just going to be doing a gym leader rush for a little bit.
That's right, we're gonna go around the world, do some of those gym battles that we've been avoiding to finally get us those badges.
Yeah, there are a couple more gift Pokemon we're grabbing as well, just to kind of finish up the catches as well.
And we do also still have to finish the story, because the last and final gym leader will not actually face us unless we finished the actual story. And we're about to see another instance of the Rebel teleporting away. It's actually the last instance of that, because the screen's gonna fade to black here, and you're gonna see the Rebel just vanish. Where did he go? He didn't actually hit the corner of the screen there. He just vanished. Yeah.
So now it's time for Vermilion City. So we're finally going up against Surge. And if you've played other Pokemon games that take place in Kanto, you might know that Surge's gym can kind of be a pain, because the way that you normally have to... What you normally have to do to get to him is find electronic switches in trash cans. Thankfully in this game, they are static. So we're just gonna talk to 2 trash cans and we're through, and that's all we have to do.
That is true, yes. Fire Red and Leaf Green runners are seething right now.
I do like that they color 2 of the cans, like they're trying to trick you to talk to those 2, I guess.
Yeah. This is the one, and the other one is right next to it. Do want to make sure not to accidentally step into the line of sight of a trainer here.
I just straight up talked to the dude in the center one time.
Yeah, that can happen. Because, you know, everything in this game, like, basically every button on the Joy-Con is, counts as an A press in this game for some reason. So when I'm mashing through text and also through this battle, because we're way over leveled for this, so we can just score at everything, what I do is I hold down one button, I hold down the L, and I mash 2 other buttons, L and, well, what counts as A, to mash as quickly as possible through the text. Because holding down one button makes the text scroll faster, and then of course mashing just clears the text boxes. That's more or less the optimal way to mash. You can also do it with 3 buttons that you mash, but I'm not... my dexterity isn't high enough, I guess, to actually be able to do that. But the downside of having every button be an A button is that you can accidentally talk to optional trainers or your right Pokemon if you just so much as brush the wrong button at the wrong time. So yeah.
Pushing down the stick even counted an A press?
Yes. And I do have a funny story to tell about that when we get to Victory Road. So even pressing down the stick counts as an A press in this game. Alright, I have to do another menu here. I have to heal the Starmie full. Then I have to... nope, that's the wrong pocket. I have to teach Thunderbolt. We just got that from Lieutenant Surge, so that's really good. And now we fly to Celadon. I hope I didn't forget anything, but I'm pretty sure I am good on that end. And the reason that, you know, a huge reason why we are using the Starmie is not just that it's an incredible Pokemon with really great special attack and speed, but also because it has a pretty broad type coverage. You know, it learns its water and psychic types. That, you know, it is water and psychic types, so that works out pretty well. But it also learns Thunderbolt to cover almost everything else. So it's just a really great Pokemon for the speedrun. The requirement to get into Erika's gym, I do want to quickly talk about that. The requirement is that you show the attendant there a cute Pokemon. You notice I just meshed 8 to this, so I showed my Starmie as a cute Pokemon. And yeah, that's cute. But let me tell you something. You could show any Pokemon there. Every Pokemon is cute. So Weepinbell, cute. Grimer, cute. Coughing, cute. Make of that what you will. Oh, come on. You can also avoid all of the optional trainers here by hugging the bushes. I did hit that one Ace trainer that I just passed one time in a PB attempt. It was really unfortunate. But usually you can pretty easily avoid them.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't think people even consider the trainers in this gym as doing trainer skips because you just kind of... They're very easy to get around even casually.
Yeah. So, I did not count those when I said there were 4 trainer skips in the game. We did 3 now, right? One on the way to Burr, one on the way to Vermilion that I screwed up, and then another one when we entered Cycling Road. And there's a 4th one coming up in Victory Road that is still a little bit away, a little ways away. So yeah, we are still very much overleveled for this fight. You're supposed to do this much sooner. Okay, we're gonna get the Golduck after this. Which means we can just spam Psychic, we don't have to set up or anything. You know, we're 13 levels higher than this Weepinbell. And even Erika's Ace, the Vileplume that's about to come out, is still like 10 levels lower than us. 12 levels actually, so really one-sided affair here. But that's the last gym that we are over-leveled for. It's just gonna get harder from here. So, that's the 47th catch right there, the Golduck. That just leaves 1 more evolution and the 2 gift Pokemon. We are gonna get both of those in Saffron. And that is actually our next destination. So after passing it by twice, by going through the underground and getting the tea a half hour ago, we can now actually go there. And we don't have to worry about the guards not letting us past.
So as we exit the gym, we're going to do one thing that's just a minor optimization that's pretty cool, is we are actually going to fly to the same city that we're already in. So when we open up the map, the cursor is already on Celadon, but we're just going to fly to Celadon anyway. And that just brings us to the Pokemon Center, which is closer to where we want to go.
And I do feel like the only reason why that's faster is that you also have to do the cuts to get out of here. Like you'd have to cut that bush again. If you were just galloping on Rapidash, it might still be faster to do that. But this way you don't have to do the walking. You just have the secret technique animation. That was strange pronunciation right there. And you're good. So we're in Saffron City now, and we're just noticing that Team Rocket is doing something in the Silphco building here. Silphco, of course, being this huge corporation. I actually don't know what is the thing that they do.
Develop Pokeballs.
Right, okay.
Porygon, actually.
And Porygon, yes. So, really important that we don't let Team Rocket take this over, because they could just basically monopolize the Pokeball supply.
And you did have an X attack left?
I do have 3 X attacks left, so I was really good on that end. Didn't have to worry at all, because the Nidoking was really good. If the Nidoking had been worse, I would have had to use a couple more X attacks. But as it stands, we are good for this next fight, because in order to check whether we are skilled enough to take on Team Rocket in here, Blue actually wants to fight us here, so we do have to fight Blue. And Blue has 2 Pokemon, one of which is the only Pokemon in the game that Starmie cannot reliably take out, and that is Executor. Executor is Grass and Psychic type, so it resists all 3 of our types that we have as an attacking move. It resists Water, Psychic, and Electric, so we actually have to use the Dodrio here to take out the Executor. So we're going to give an X attack to the Dodrio, and then we're going to use Drill Pack, and that always one-shots the Executor.
Yeah, even though it's a modest Dodrio because of the nature's thing that we did earlier, it still always gets the one shot.
Exactly, yes. But now it's back to using Starmie. We're going to Scald and use an X special attack. Actually, I didn't know how my X special attacks, but yeah, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine, because I did buy that extra one. And I also didn't need to use that many because the Pikachu had pretty good special attack to begin with. So I could rely on Helping Hand instead of using more X special attacks in Hideout and Pokemon Tower. So we're going to take up the elevator, and up next is the dreaded Archer 2 fight, the second fight against Archer, which, like I said, has the potential to be the worst fight in the game. I'm not going to save for this, because usually you don't die on the fight, it's just, it can take a while, and we do still have 3 revives.
From 3 turns to up to 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
I think you're just mentioning what to say this, Triv, but yeah, this is what's called a true double battle. So normally for double battles, you saw earlier we kind of did the 2v1 where we're controlling both Pokemon on our side of the field. Even on the 2v2, it's the one controller controlling both. But in this case, the second trainer, in this case Trace, our rival, he's controlling his character. So it's we're totally at the mercy of the AI here.
We got the second best opening here.
Nice. Yeah, so you can choose to do a variety of different things.
Yeah, the 3 openings that we can see are Electrode uses Thunderbolt, which is the one we got. We do have to heal that now because we get pretty low from that Thunderbolt, and yeah, Electrode goes for Self-Destruct here, which is perfect because that takes it out, and we just healed, so we don't take too much damage from that. Also, nice crit on the Cubone. Oh no, Focus Energy. Okay.
It should still take out, right?
Yeah. The other thing that we could have seen is that the Electro could have gone for Self-Destruct turn 1, and then either the Muk could have gone for Protect or not. If it went for Protect, then it would have survived that turn where the Electro was Self-Destructing. Would you please take out the Eradicate, Cubone? Please.
It's guaranteed to this turn.
Yeah, I know. But it could have done so 1 turn, actually 2 turns sooner, so...
Oh, that's
really
because
unfortunate.
now you're getting a Sucker Punch.
And the best thing that could have happened is had the Electrode gone for Self-Destruct and the Muk not protected itself, because then both of those Pokemon would have been taken out in turn 1. And that's the only way to get a 3-turn Archer fight. We just got a 4-turn though, which is pretty good.
You always take 4 turns.
You always take those, yes.
Also, Boomerang can miss, so if that happens, yeah.
Yeah, that's just annoying. Yeah, in order for the Cubone to reliably take out the Eradicate, it has to go for Boomerang on it twice. It can also go for Energy Focus, which it did 1 turn. That just does nothing. It increases its critical hit rate, but that really doesn't have any use for us in this fight, so it's just a wasted turn from the Cubone. And it can go for Headbutt, which just does way less damage than Boomerang. So we really always want to see the Cubone go for Boomerang there. Sadly, it is random, so there's really no way to control it. So this is where you used to fight the rival in Silphco in the original games, but this has been replaced by Trace actually helping us out by refighting Archer for us, and we can just move on without having to fight the rival again. Convenient for us because it's one last battle that we have to do.
And so now we're going into our final Jesse and James fight.
Yes.
Which will be a lot easier now that we have a strong Psychic type.
Yes, this is actually the easiest Jesse and James fight because of that. So It's still gonna take 2 turns, but we're just gonna psychic both of the Pokemon that they have. It's super effective. It's gonna take both of them out. We're gonna waste the turn on Dodrio in turn 1 here, because it can't really do anything against these 2. And in turn 2, depending on whether we get hit on the Starmie, we're gonna use Dodrio's turn to heal, or we're just gonna use another Sword Stance. Ideally, the Weezing just goes for Dodrio here. Perfect. No, okay. At least we didn't get paralyzed, so like I said, I can use Dodrio's turn to heal now, which is always a good idea. And this is the last super potion that we could have potentially needed, so it all worked out with the items.
Yeah, so we're going to go up against Giovanni for the second time, and then we'll do our third and final shop to run.
Exactly. So, Giovanni's second fight is, I want to say, the least interesting one, because we aren't using 3X attacks and using Helping Hand this time. No, we just set up 1X special and then sweep the fight with Starmie. It's pretty standard speedrun strat. But yeah, this is actually not the last time that we are fighting Giovanni, so the third time is going to be a little bit more interesting and more challenging again. But for now, we're just going to save the CEO of Sivko from the evil Italian stereotype. And like I said, this fight is pretty straightforward, so if there's any word from the host, this would be a good opportunity.
Well, thank you very much. Once again, I'd just like to thank everybody who is here watching with us on this Earth Day, where we are raising money for One Tree Planted, which again is a charity that's focused on reforestation. So far, we've raised $314, so again, thank you very much for all those donations. And keep in mind that coming up next, we do have the Super Metroid Ascent run, where we are having our bid war between saving or abandoning the animals. So if you want to get in on that, head on over and donate towards your preferred choice. All right, back to you.
All right, thank you. Just beat Giovanni. We did it. He's gonna tell us that we should never forget what happened here. Always kind of a strange line out of him.
And then we're going to get the Master Ball, which is not helpful in this category.
Not at all. Though it was infamously used in an SGDQ run of this game to catch a random Psyduck. But we're not going to do that because we managed our catches correctly.
Yeah, that's the one spot where you do use the Master Ball, is if you discover when you reach Koga's gym that you are only at 49 catches, then you just run to the nearest patch of grass and catch something with a Master Ball.
Ideally, that should never happen. And there are other backups that you can take to get to 50. But yeah, you could, for instance, there's another Moonstone that you can grab here in Saffron. So I could just also use that and evolve the Jigglypuff, for instance. But we're gonna get a gifted Lapras here, which is our 49th Pokemon. Gonna pick up another rare candy here. This is usually the candy I would skip because of that Arcanine strat that I did earlier, but I already skipped the Route 6 candy, so we're just gonna leave now with the candy in hand. Yeah. So what's coming up? We're gonna go outside. We're gonna pick up our 50th Pokemon. So roughly 2.5 hours into the run, we have fulfilled Koga's gym requirement. So we could potentially go and challenge him right now. But since we're already in Saffron, we are instead going to do Saffron's gym first. Just more convenient. There we go.
And now we have our electronic duck. And, Did they do the final shop?
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I never really thought
Except
about
it
it
looks like
that
a
way.
duck.
It does kind of look like a duck, but does it quack like a duck? Is the question.
Does it a dream of electric sheep?
All right, let's get some repels. X speeds. And yeah, I'm gonna really splurge on these X items here. It's gonna look a little bit ridiculous, but it's just faster to sometimes buy them in bulk, even though you don't need as many, just so that it's gonna go a little bit faster, because you can always increase the number by 10 by pressing left or right on the control stick. So even though we're probably not going to need 31 special attacks, I can just buy 31 of them because it's faster than actually picking the correct amount. And we do have enough money.
Yeah, you're definitely getting good bang for your buck in X items in this game, because you get
Yes.
two stages of boost per usage, and
Exactly.
the prices are the same as in earlier gens, whereas
That's correct.
in other games you'd be paying more, like in Sword and Shield, for example.
Yeah, these X items used to only give one combat stage as a buff, but they were upgraded to actually increase your combat stage by 2, starting in what was this? I hope this is the correct teleporter. I've lost track. Oh, I'm good. Okay, starting in, I think it was Sword and Shield. Oh, that was close. But they also increased the price to, keep it fair. So you can't actually just buy 100 of those X items and beat the entire game with that. But in the remakes of older generations, like Let's Go and also Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they did not adjust the price, but they did adjust the power of the X items. So we can actually get them for really cheap, but still have them be as powerful as they are in the new mainline games, like Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet.
So the Sabrina fight can get a little interesting depending on whether you see light screen or not.
Yes.
Light screen is a move that will persistently raise the special defense of the Pokemon, and since we're just using special attacks, that means we're doing less damage. And so what we're really looking for here is to see whether or not it got turn 1 light screen, which is perfectly fine.
That's the best thing you can have, because now with using all of our X items here to set up, light screen will turn out before the second Pokemon comes out here. Except if I crit, now I have to stall a turn. Unfortunate crit, actually. Well, it's fine. This Alakazam can't really do anything to us, so I'm just gonna use the Super Potion here to soar, and then we're just gonna take it out next turn. Yeah, easy as that. I could have also gone for Hydro Pump, potentially. But Hydro Pump is only 80% accurate, and if you've ever played Pokemon, you know that 80% accurate in Pokemon actually means 50% accurate, so if I can avoid using Hydro Pump, I will do so.
Yeah, a decent number of the times where we use Hydro Pump in the run, we have either ways to avoid it or specific backups to do that work just fine.
Exactly, so that was Sabrina. A little bit of a hiccup there from the crit on Mr. Mime, but it's fine. We got through it with Sabrina. And now it's finally time to go and challenge Koga. I do have to do a little bit of a menu first to get ready for that, but yeah, then we can actually cash in those 50 catches that we have accrued. All the work that we've done will finally pay off. All right, so what I have to do here, I have to use put the Hyper Potions in slot 1 in here. I guess I could have also used the Super Potion there, but that's fine, I think. And then we're gonna deposit everything that...
Plenty of Hypers.
Yeah. I actually don't know if Hyper Potions increase the friendship more than Super Potions. I hope not. Then we're going to use our last rare candy to level to 49. I do have to know my special attack here, 132, okay. Also 138 speed, and I forgot to do one last thing here. I do need to put the X specials into the back of the bag. This means that I can just press left once in battle to get to the X special attacks, and since that is the item that we are going to use the most in battle, it's nice to have it in a convenient spot. Yeah, this is the last time that we're going to see Josie and James in the run. We could have already triggered this cutscene when we were in Fuchsia the last time, but it is kind of out of the way for us to grab. So we're just gonna go here now. They're gonna dig out some golden teeth that they found in the sand. I don't know how they got there, but they gave it to us because they're disgusted by them or something. And now we have some golden teeth. And now it's time for our catch check. Will we get kicked by Koga?
Yeah, so this can sometimes be a somewhat nerve-wracking moment in attempts, because if you suddenly find out that you miscounted your catches, your run is dead.
Pretty much, yeah. Because at this point, going out of your way to catch a 50th Pokemon is just going to be super slow. You're pretty far away from any nearby routes here. And then also getting something useful on those routes is going to be hard. So yeah, you really want to be at exactly 50 catches here. The Koga gym can be a little bit tricky, not necessarily because of Koga, but mainly because of this guy, Caden, the only gym trainer that we have to fight in here. Because he likes to spam Minimize on this map, and Minimize just makes it so that we will hit him less, which can be really annoying, so we just want to see Protect Turn 1 here. Perfect. Because if he goes Protect Turn 1, he's not going to go Protect Turn 2, though I did see him go for double Protect in my practice run on Wednesday. Which is really annoying.
All 6 Pokemon that we fight in Koga's gym, no Protect. And so seeing it from that muck was fine, because we were setting up that turn. But sometimes we'll just start spamming Protect while we're trying to attack them, and that just is slow and makes us waste the PP of our moves, which can be fairly tight depending on your starting special attack.
Exactly. I should be fine here because my Starmie is pretty good, so I can use Scald, where I would usually have to use Psychic if my Starmie would be a little worse. Because Scald is just a slightly weaker move, and it's also not super effective like Psychic would be on these poison types. Excuse me. But the Starmie has 132 special attack at 49, so yeah, I'm guaranteed to take out both the Weezing and the Venomoth on Koga with Scald here. This Weezing can do a couple of things turn 1. We either want to see Protect turn 1, or ideally we see Self-Destruct turn 1. Or I think it's Explosion at this point, because then it just gets rid of itself. No, because Toxic, that's not the best thing it can do, because we have to immediately heal that. Since Koga always goes for Protect the turn after using Toxic, so we wouldn't even be able to take out the Weezing. Also, why didn't I Scald? I just say that I could. Oh man. Back to Scald we go. That's the first Protect that we didn't want to see. Next up, Golbat. This one always dies to Scald or Thunderbolt, so we didn't have to worry about our Psychic PP there. Second Protect.
One of my old PVs saw Protect from all 6 Pokemon.
Yeah, that's surprisingly not as rare as you'd think. Happens quite a lot. And then Mach you always have to use Psychic for, because it's very bulky especially, and also you also Protect turn 1 again.
Oh, we missed one Protect on the hero.
That is true. And that's Koga.
So that would be our 7th? Yeah, 7th gym catch. So now we just need to get one more, and that will be our 3rd Giovanni fight.
Exactly. Before we go there, though, we have to still pick up the equivalent to the HM strength. because that is also in this game, by going into this house and giving this older man, the warden, his teeth back. You know, those that we dug out from the ground.
Yeah, I really hope he washed them first.
Yeah, but there's no sink here.
There's the cup. Maybe it's just water in there. Just rinse them off real quick.
I hope so. I think there's like a little bit of a, what you call it, a lake? No, not really. In the backyard here, where you could potentially have washed it. Anyway, I do have to use an elixir here because we will be running low on our PP. If I don't do that, I'm not going to heal. And then we will use repels. Because from now on, we really don't want to see any more Pokemon spawn because we are done with catching. Come on, there we go. We are done with catching, so any Pokemon that we see spawning would just be an opportunity to accidentally get into a catch. So we just use a repel to keep everything cleared. I hope I'm close enough to the sign right now. Let's see, if you go into this cutscene a little bit too low, the rival actually walks down to you, but no, looks like I'm fine here. And that just costs you a second or two in the cutscene.
So here we get brought back to Professor Oak's lab, and Blue is going to give us some Mega Stones.
That's right.
We will not be using.
No.
But we are still going to see some Mega Pokemon later on.
But we are going to see one Mega Pokemon later on.
Which, and that one is very notable when we get to it. Just because that can be somewhat of a difficult fight.
It definitely can be. So before we can leave again, the Pikachu is gonna wanna smell some flowers here. And we use that opportunity to talk to this girl who tells us that the Viridian gym leader, who's been absent for the entire game, has finally returned and is taking challenges again. So where we couldn't enter the gym before, we can now finally go there. And this only happens if you've cleared Silphco, so that's why we do have to do that still. There had been some talk when the Mountskips were found and, I want to say, perfected, on whether it might be possible to skip the badge check for Giovanni so that you could skip most of this. You know, because if the game never checks that you have this gym badge, you don't have to do the gym. As long as you still get to the Elite Four and can get to the credits. But there hasn't been any development on that end lately, so we do still have to defeat this gym, starting with this trainer, but we can just use Psychic twice here.
And it's very important that we talk to this gym trainer, because if you don't talk to him and fight him now, later when you're going through the gym, he blocks your path, which makes you fight an additional 2 trainers. So you just get this guy out of the way right then, and then you can get to the gym much faster.
Exactly. Also, you want to make sure to step on the correct pads later. Not gonna risk anything here. Oops. Oh well. You can actually walk up to this guy without him seeing you, which is a little bit faster, because the trainers do walk very slowly to get to you and challenge you to a battle when they see you.
This guy's very scary.
Yeah, this is very scary. You can do this with just the Starmie, but it would require you to hit a Hydro Pump. So instead we use this backup strat for safety. It's more safe for a marathon where you can just use the next special attack with the second controller and use Scald.
What move is that? Mega Horn? Is that what it has?
Yeah, Nidoking has a Mega Horn, so if you, which is a very strong bug type move, I want to say, which Starmie is weak to. So most Starmies, unless your Starmie is incredibly physically bulky, will just get one shot by Mega Horn in that fight. So if you miss the Hydro Pump, you're toast. The run is over. Which is why, unless I'm slightly behind PB pace or something, I tend to do the safety strat even in PB attempts, because it just sucks to lose the run 2 hours and 40 minutes in. Alright, that's the last gym trainer we fight here. So now it's time for Giovanni, and I will save before Giovanni because we can really get screwed here, and I don't wanna, well, lose the run in the marathon. I usually wouldn't save here either.
Which, the fact that this is the first time that we're saving really shows that most of the fights in this run are fairly safe.
Yes.
For a lot of Pokemon speedruns, you save way more frequently than this in marathons. So a lot of the challenge for this game is around the catching and the routing that goes into that. The routing on the fly, as opposed to the battles, which makes it for a really great beginner run for people who want to get into Pokemon speedrunning.
Exactly. This is what we bought the X defense for, because we're gonna have to tank a few earthquakes here from this Duck Trio. And if this Duck Trio crits us once, we're dead. So, yeah. It gets 3 chances to hit us.
Yeah, it outspeeds. It's one of the few things that outspeeds.
Exactly.
Not worth it to set up an X speed usually if you outspeed everything else. So.
We did not get crit, but we got hit pretty hard here, so we will have to heal after this fight, because this would put us into quick attack range for the first Pokemon on the next fight. If I were at like 30 HP right now, after those 3 earthquakes, I could have skipped the heal and instead healed in the next battle, which would have been slightly faster. But yeah, from now on, this fight is once again a sweep, because we did get the setup and did not get knocked out. We should have a 50 here. Once again, I want to keep track of my special attack and speed. 135 and 142. If only we had done Eevee, because then we could have done a cool little strat for the next fight with the Starmie. But it doesn't work in Eevee, in Pikachu, I mean.
Yeah, so like I said a while ago, the only difference at this point between the 2 games are going to be the starter Pokemon that the rival has. So since we have Pikachu, our rival is going to have a Jolteon, which is a very fast Pokemon.
Yeah, because unlike in the original games, or in the original Pokemon Yellow, the rival always goes for Jolteon. There's never a chance for him to go for Flareon or Vaporeon instead. And Jolteon is a very fast Pokemon, so it will always be faster than Starmie unless you set up an X speed first, which is what we're going to have to do on this next rival fight. Alright, I'm gonna menu here. Again, I do have to heal. This will heal us to full, and we should not take damage in this next fight. So that still works out. It just would have saved the menu if we could have done this in battle for the rival fight.
So for the next fight, he has a Raichu and Eevee, so you don't have to, sometimes you don't have to X speed, is that correct?
That is correct. If you have 140 plus speed, which the Starmie has 142, at level 50, then you don't have to X speed, which just saves. It's just faster to, I don't know, use Stomp on Rapidash instead of going into the back and using an X speed, so you save like 3 seconds in the fight. If you outspeed the Raichu, but you can never outspeed the Jolteon without extra help. I'm not sure if it will work if we were going for a plus speed Starmie, but you know, that would make the rest of the fights much worse.
Much worse.
Much worse. We do outspeed this Pidgeot though, so the only danger would have been Quick Attack, which is a priority move. And the AI will always go for priority moves if it knows that it can kill you with that. So if we had gone into this with low health, then nope, that's wrong. That's exactly wrong. I'm gonna use Scald here.
That's one nice thing about the double battles is that you can always back out your first command if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. So next should be the, Jolteon, there we go. It's random what he sends out after the Pidgeot. It's always going to be the Pidgeot turn 1, but after that can be anything from his team. And that's also the reason why we have to set up the X speed in turn 2, because X speed only goes into effect 1 turn after you've used it. And if we don't use it turn 2 and Jolteon comes out turn 3, we are pretty much screwed. And you could have just skipped the X speed there, which would have also let me use Psychic on the Marowak instead of going for the super effective Scald. So I could have saved that extra text box as well as not having to do the little menu to get to the X special attacks. Or XP in this case. Alright, it is time for the badge checks. So we're gonna pass 8 gates here. And at each gate will be one of these. I don't actually know what to call them.
Guards, I guess?
Guards, yeah. That will check if we have each of the badges. They go one by one. In this gen, in later gens, usually there's just one instance of this where the game checks all of your badges. But in the first game,
they... of BDSP, it doesn't check them at all.
Yeah. I mean, I guess... Alright, that is true. You can just walk into the champion chamber in the any percent category there. But we don't have that luxury here. And yeah, like I said, there had been some talk in the past on whether you could maybe skip this badge check and the next with the mount skips. But as far as I know, there has not been a consistent setup found. Oops.
Talking to Rapidash here is very common, because if you mash just slightly too long while clearing the text box from the guard, then you end up talking to Rapidash.
That is correct. Now it's time for Victory Road. We have reached the final dungeon of the game, where we have to do some strength puzzles. This is the only part of the game where we have to use strength or strong push, as it is called here.
I call it pushy push, but...
Pushy push, yeah. That is a much better name. But no, it is called strong push. I'm going to use another 2-controller strat for this fight. You can also do this with 1 controller, but again, it requires you to hit a Hydro Pump. And this Kangaskhan has Crunch, which is also super effective on Starmie, so we use this backup strat to get around dying here. We hit the Hydro Pump, so it's fine. If you do this with 1 controller, you have 1 turn to set up the Axe special attack, where I can get 1 Crunch at hit in, excuse me. That will always do more than half, basically. So if you then, like I said, miss the Hydro Pump in the second turn, another Crunch will just take out Starmie and basically end the run right there. You can still revive it theoretically, but there's never a safe time to switch it back in, unless you also let the Rapidash faint. And that's all super slow, so yeah, you really wanna...
Yeah, Kangaskhan can be a range as well, so...
That's true. If you have bad special attack, the Hydro Pump can be a range. So on top of being inaccurate, you could also be screwed over by the random damage component. Which I don't think we've explained yet, right?
No, I don't think we've explained damage rolls. Go ahead, Iron.
Yeah, so the damage formula is actually kind of interesting when you look into it. There's a bunch of factors that go in: power of the move, whether it's super effective, what the opponent's defense is, what your attack is, etc. But there's also like a random variable that's multiplied onto it, which is a number from 0.85 to 1, and it was 0.85, 0.86, and so on. So there's 16 values in that range. So you can theoretically have 16 possible damage values when you use a move. Very often, especially at lower levels, you have like the same roll because of rounding. Most things get rounded down in Pokemon, so you very often see a move having maybe 2 or 3 possible rolls. At this point in the run, you might see maybe 8 or 9 different rolls on a move. But that means you have some degree out of 16 chance to KO something with a specific move. And so if you get unlucky and get the low damage, low random value, you can fail to KO something, and that can be quite catastrophic in certain cases, like that Kangaskhan.
Yeah, and ranges are pretty important for the rest of the fights here because, yeah, the strats for this are pretty tight. Like, if your Starmie is just a little bit worse than what the notes deem as ideal, you're gonna have some trouble with the random damage component. So we're going to be talking about ranges a lot here for the last 20 minutes of the run. So this is the last... No, this is not the last strength puzzle. There's one more. But we are approaching the final trainer skip of the run. Did I take the free here? Yeah, I did, because he turned to the left. This is considered the hardest skip of them all. I personally think the Vermilion skip is harder.
I think the Vermilion's way harder, yeah.
Yeah. And this is where I wanted to talk about pressing down the control stick. So, like I said earlier in the run, pressing down the control stick in this game also counts as an A press. And there was a time where I was on a PB pace for this run, and I was getting pretty nervous because it wasn't the best PB pace. I was like 20-30 seconds ahead in a 3-hour run. And I got so nervous that I accidentally held down the control stick too hard, pressed it in, and talked to that trainer that I was supposed to skip.
Oh no.
So yeah, I lost the run right there. After that, I actually, you can unbind buttons in the switch menu, and I did that to my left control stick. So now I can no longer accidentally talk to Alexa, which is the name of the trainer that we just skipped.
Yeah, I guess we mentioned earlier there's another category which is, I think, only recently became a thing in the last year because the setups were found to be much more consistent, is the mount skips. So there's 3, I guess, trainers in here that you can technically skip. Oh, 4, okay.
Yep.
Alexa being the 5th.
Yeah, Alexa's one that doesn't, I guess, count as one of those because you are technically
dismount for her.
Yeah, exactly. But the others, especially that guy up there, which is Dawson, he's actually the first one that was found. A runner, I think, was it Cruel, who found completely by accident.
I think so.
In a run. he just rode right by.
Yeah, so normally...
It's normally not that easy, though.
Yeah. Normally, as was mentioned, you normally want to chalk to the trainers because they take a while to walk to you. But in that particular case, you just ran right past Dawson and then just kept going. Which is a little unexpected.
Yeah, because if you had just been talking to them, then you normally never expect it to just run right past them unless you forget. So it's kind of a lucky find, and it ended up making this category a thing.
Yeah. Ironically enough, the Dawson setup is actually the hardest now when you're doing a regular any percent run. So even though it was found first, and by pure coincidence, it is now somehow the hardest of the 4 mount skips that you can do in here. At least according to people who actually do the mount skips. I've never done them myself, so...
Yeah, I think that's right, just because you have such a small little area to work with for Dawson, because it's this tiny little nook that he's standing in.
Yes, if anyone's curious as to how much time the mount skips save, for Pikachu, the difference between 90% with mount skips and without mount skips is about 2 minutes and a bit. And then in Eevee, it's a little bit less.
Yeah, but that's just...
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Because the NMS record for Eevee is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's about a minute and a half.
Yeah. It's like 2 or 3 minutes roughly, because while you do skip 4 fights, which is more than 3 minutes of time save, you do also have to take a detour to Pewter City to pick up the old Ember, so that you can get an Aerodactyl, because all of the setups that have been found for these mount skips only work on Aerodactyl and not on Rapidash. And the difference there being the movement animation. So the invisible frame where the trainers can't see you is at a different spot in the animation, and there just haven't been any setups found for Rapidash yet.
So you're going to get rid of Rapidash, so it no longer gains XP, and then it also takes it out of the Hall of Fame cutscene, so it'll save us a little bit of time at the end. Because from here on out, it's just Starmie against the Elite Four.
Absolutely. Which also means that dying here will always send you back to the beginning of the Elite Four, because you don't have a second Pokemon in the party. So if Starmie faints, it's over, which means I will be saving for the last 3 fights of this that are particularly scary. I did not check my level 52 special attack.
What was it?
Actually 51, never mind, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna set up here. So it was 138, I think. Or was it? Unfortunate that I don't remember right now, so I will just set up to +3 to make sure that we get out of this. You could also have managed with just 2x special attacks, but then again,
Pump, right?
Or if you have good special attack.
yes,
Yeah.
you would either have to Hydro Pump the Jinx that is coming soon, or you'd have to risk a damage roll with Scald. Also, you'd have to risk a damage roll with Thunderbolt on this Lapras. So
Right, that's it.
I think this Starmie would have probably been good enough to just roll with 2x special attacks, saving a turn. But because I am not able to screenshot my stats right now, and I didn't catch them at 51, I don't actually know what my stats are, so I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, you can't ever argue with a little bit of marathon safety.
Yeah. This does still leave us at pretty nice HP for the next Elite Four fight against Bruno. Widely considered to be the easiest of the 4.
Yeah, you
But
probably
even-
don't need to heal for this one, so.
Yeah, I don't need to heal. Because we do have to tank 1 Earthquake from the Onyx, but Onyx has a pretty bad attack stat. So,
Isn't it like the same as Caterpie or something?
I don't know. Could be. So, I'm not sure if you could survive a crit, but a regular hit of Earthquake, we would always survive from this HP.
Crits are 1.5 times in this game, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
1.5. Okay.
Crit
Looks like we're
probably-
getting turnarounds. So in this game, and I think it was, I don't know when it was introduced.
I think it was this game.
It was this game, actually? Okay. So this game introduced some new features of the friendship mechanic, where getting high friendship with your Pokemon lets it hang on with 1 HP on moves that usually would knock it out. It also sometimes randomly lets it heal itself when it suffers from a status condition, but high friendship also means that whenever you use an item on it or land a super effective hit, it will turn around like the way you've been seeing here. And since we're only using Psychic on these fighting types, it always is doing this little turnaround, which loses us a little bit of time each turn. And the way that the friendship route works for this game, you should never get turnarounds before the next Elite Four fight. So I must have used 1 item too many earlier, because using an item on Starmie increases its friendship. But sometimes you can't really choose if you have to heal or not, the game forces you, and then you just have to do it. This is the first fight in the Elite Four that I really want to save on. Stuff can go pretty
Be an
wrong.
interesting fight.
Yeah, this
It
can
is,
be a pretty
yeah.
interesting fight. So, she starts out with an Arbok. This Arbok almost always goes for Glare turn 1, which is a move that just paralyzes us. It can very rarely also go for Crunch turn 1. So that's the first thing that can be kind of interesting, because we would have to heal that paralysis if the Starmie doesn't just heal itself with that mechanic that I just mentioned. Glare, okay, doesn't heal.
Then
But-
hopefully the power of love clears the paralysis this turn.
No, okay. Oh, so we got the defense drop, which is
Defense drop. Ugh.
really unfortunate because now the next crunch will probably put us into quick attack range for the Golbat later. Yes, it will.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's quick attack range.
It's fine though. Arbok does not have a priority attack, so we can just start taking out Agatha's Pokemon here until we get to the Golbat. But it will take an extra turn of healing here, just a little bit so. So yeah, Crunch can drop our defense, and we don't want to see that. At least not turn 1. If it happens on the second Crunch, it doesn't really matter, because the first Crunch would never have put you into the quick attack range for the Golbat. But 10 HP, yeah, we're gonna die to quick attack if we don't heal. There comes the Golbat. So we use another Hyper Potion here. We've already hit the friendship threshold, so healing here doesn't really hurt that much. Except that, of course, it takes another turn. And that
There is
just
a
needs one Pokemon.
Yeah, there is a strat you can do, which, assuming you don't have the high happiness threshold yet, or I guess, never mind. Even if you do, to avoid the turnarounds, you can actually use Hydro Pump on a bunch of Agatha's Pokemon. But yeah, it's 50% accurate, so you don't really want to do that. But if you want to save, it's a couple seconds each time you use it over Psychic.
We're using an Ether here. I'm going to be extra careful on Psychic to get back our Psychic VP. And I'm also going to save, because this next fight is notorious for ending runs. I guess both of the remaining fights are.
Yep, for both of the last two fights, we're gonna have to do a lot of setup on the first Pokemon. And so if you get crit, you're in trouble.
Yes, you can get crit turn 1 basically on both of the fights. That would be fine. It just means that we would have to heal. But if you get hit with a crit on any other turn, you just die. So I definitely want to save here for our marathon safety. We have to set up so many X items here that we actually start out with an X special defense, so we take less. Nope. So we take less damage here. Hyper Beam, okay. That's the most damage that this can do, but it does take another turn of recharge after. So that's one X special attack, another Hyper Beam, okay.
Interesting.
One more, that's 2. So we want to see one more Hyper Beam ideally here. Now it goes to Dragon Pulse. Okay, so now we have to go. If it had gone for Hyper Beam again, we could have healed here in battle and skipped the heal menu after. Though I guess we still would save here in the marathon, so it's actually not that much time lost. And yeah, now we just Psychic everything. We're gonna hit level 53 off of the Gyarados. And then we can see our final special attack stand here, which should be high enough to be guaranteed to take out Dance's Dragonite.
Yeah, mediocre Starmies can have issues with the Dragonite, and worse ones can have issues with the Gyarados, but I don't think it's going to have any problems.
No, 145 is more than guaranteed to take out the Dragonite with one hit.
And with Gyarados, you can always just go for T-Bolt if the bad Psychic range.
That is true.
You get the extra text box. It's not too bad.
And
You
the
have to-
turnaround.
That is, yeah. So it is a few seconds.
I mean,
Yeah,
compared to losing the run, it's definitely preferable.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's march through this little bit of dialogue where it is revealed that you're not actually champion now, you still have to face your rival who beat the Elite Four before you, just like in the original games. So we will have to fight Trace one more time here. I am going to heal. Because we
Actually,
did take...
did not know you could menu in his room.
Yeah, you can. And then we're gonna skip the last cutscene of the run. There we go. And head right into battle. He's gonna send out his Pidgeot first, and unlike any trainer in the 6th generation, he doesn't use his Mega Pokemon as his ace. He actually uses the Mega Pokemon as his lead, which makes this unnecessarily hard for us, because Mega Pidgeot is a special attacker that hits really hard, and is also pretty fast.
Yeah, this is another please don't crit fight.
Absolutely. So we're gonna set up one more X special defense, because this thing is gonna spam Air Slash, which is a special flying type move. Nice crit turn 1.
Crit. All right.
Again, we can get crit on turn 1. That is fine.
That's quite quick attack.
Yeah, my defense is pretty bad, so yeah, it goes for quick attack, which is pretty convenient, because now we shouldn't die to speed. We shouldn't die to 3 Air Slashes. 1 X special attack. Okay, I do have to heal now, because I do have to set up another X special attack here. Oops. Still unfortunate to get crit, but better to get crit turn 1 at full health than to get crit any later. Perfect, and now we're free to just fire off a Psychic.
Because yeah, the crits ignore the fact that Triv raised her special defense with the X special defense. So, as you can tell, the crit did a lot more damage than the normal hit there.
You have to set up another X special attack actually here, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get rid of the Jolteon reliably. We could use Hydro Pump, but you know, like I said, it's Hydro Pump. Plus this Vileplume always goes for Solar Beam, so it always takes, you always get 1 free turn where it charges up, where you can just set up another X special attack. You don't have to do this in Eevee. This Reg just does to +4 Psychic every time. And yeah, now it's just mashing, so the run is basically over.
The only thing left is to select Thunderbolt for slow grow.
Absolutely.
The only thing
and
that can go wrong at this point.
Are done. So, 1 more Pokemon, 1 more Slowbro. Come on, come on. Thunderbolts.
GG.
And that's it. That's
GG.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So, yeah, I love the speedrun. It's still my favorite speedrun to do. I've been mostly doing Pokemon Scarlet lately, but to prepare for this marathon, I've been doing a lot of Let's Go runs again, and it's been a joy to be back to Let's Go, and it's just always so much fun to do this run. Yeah.
Time isn't quite yet. Sorry.
Isn't quite yet, yeah. Well, we still have to register our Pokemon in the Hall of Fame. There's going to be a Fade to Black here in a couple of seconds, and then that will be time I'll call it out. I'm going to put our Pokeball into this machine that will register us. This would take slightly longer if you had more Pokemon than just 1. But what this time means, it's going to fly by, and the camera is going to change perspective 1 more time through white here, and now it's going to fade to black, and time. There we go. Yeah, that's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, like I said. So yeah.
GG, awesome run.
Thank you, and thank you for commentating the run with me. It's been very helpful. Yeah, I think we should do some shout-outs. So do you have anything to say, or should I just take it?
No, go ahead. It's your run.
All right, yeah, that is true. I guess you two both have your own run on Sunday, so you get your turn. Yeah, so if you liked this run and want to see more of it, and specifically you want to see me do more of this, then you can watch me live stream my PB attempts at twitch.tv/Trivvaria, spelled like on the layout. I'm also on that sinking ship called Twitter, at Trivvaria over there. So yeah, would appreciate a follow over there as well. And yeah, big shout out to the Let's Go speedrunning community who has helped me out immensely while I was picking up this run. This was my first ever speedrun. I've never done anything like this before. And it was such a joy to pick this up and become part of this community. Also, a huge thank you to the organizers of Green Gaming Fest for letting me show this one off at the event. Let's save some trees.
All right, and it was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for that awesome run. Coming up next, as we mentioned before, we are going to have a little bit different Super Metroid. It's Super Metroid Ascent, which is not so much a ROM hack as it is pretty much an entire rewrite of the game. So make sure you stick around for that. Linkameister's going to take us through that. But that's going to be it for me for today as well. I'm going to hand the hosting duties over to our very own Quack. So stick around through the intermission. We will see you on the other side. Thank you, everybody, so much for all of your donations. Again, 314 trees have been planted because of all of you. Let's hit that goal. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great time. Bye.